In this video, I'm going to give you all of my best presentations, courses, and walkthroughs of how to really build funnels for cold traffic. So let's get right into it. Now, I'm going to break down a case study where we help the brand go from 625,000 per month to over 1.35 million per month in just 6 months. I'm going to really give away the whole case study, show you the exact funnels we've used, and then also give you the whole SOP behind this that you can literally follow step by step, breaking down every single step in this video. This is really, really great value. So super excited. Now let's get straight into this. It's not 2020 anymore. The golden times of e-commerce are over. The numbers are stagnating. At least that's what your competitor is going to say. Luckily, you watch this channel and these videos and you get the alpha knowledge before everybody else starts to adopt these strategies in 2 years and wonder why it doesn't work anymore. So over the past 5 years, the e-commerce market has completely changed, right? 5 years ago, you could run random ads with bad media buying to a product page and it would still work. Then iOS 14 came and you lost all of the data. Add to that, Russia-Ukraine war, inflation, COVID, China, elections, AI disruption, all of this crazy stuff that's going on in the world, meaning customers have less trust, less disposable income, and more doubt if things will even ship. And that translates into one thing and one thing only, which is you cannot do e-commerce the old way anymore. So running ads to a product page and hoping they buy doesn't work. You don't have the time, you don't have the margin, and you cannot count on back-end profits months later down the line. So you need to make money from the first sale. And the only way to do that is with direct response marketing. And what I mean by direct response is we show them an ad and within an hour they buy. Immediate response. Meaning you're going to build a code-friendly offer that solves a big problem. You then translate that offer into a funnel that starts with a pre-sale page. And then from that pre-sale page, you then send them to the sales page, e.g. the product page, with the code-friendly offer. And that's the direct response funnel. It's the only system that lets you sell to unaware prospects profitably on the front end in today's market. So let's look at the case study that I was talking about earlier. To see how all of this works in practice, let's break down the brand in the health awareness space that was stuck at 400 to 600K per month before coming to us. So the problem they had was whenever they tried pushing past 600K per month, their ROAS went down and made them unprofitable. Looking at the market and their direct competitors who were doing multiple times that a month in revenue, they knew they had a potential to scale way further but didn't understand how to. Essentially, they hit a glass ceiling. And why did this happen? They were still following the old way of targeting a product aware or most aware audience and sending them directly to the product page, right? So you're probably going to be familiar with this way. This is what a lot of brands do. They just run ads directly to a product page. And while it's the easiest to sell to these people because they're ready to buy, they understand that they have a problem, they understand there's different solutions in the market, and they actually know different products, or they have the credit card in their hand and they are ready to buy. It's also the smallest addressable market segment with the most competition, which is why typically brands hit a ceiling at 10 to 20K per day in revenue. And this is exactly where most founders hit the wall. They understand the problem, they feel the pressure, but they don't have a structured model to execute against. And they follow the next shiny object from another e-commerce guru, dropshipper, churn through different Facebook ad agencies, or try to hire another team member. When instead, the solution to all the problems is actually direct response marketing. Right? So instead of doing all of this stuff, which everybody else in the market is doing and which only works so well, we utilize direct response marketing, which enables us to sell to the unaware and the problem aware segment of the market. So while everybody else is focused on the product aware and most aware market segment, we want to sell to way colder prospects at the end of the day, right? It's crazy difficult to sell to them, which is why not many brands focus on these, but which also makes it so great because once you crack that, it's essentially an untapped market with unlimited scale. So we are selling to the biggest market size and the hardest to sell audience. And as we said earlier, we run campaigns with one clear goal, right? We want to get the customer to take immediate action. The power of direct response lies in targeting cold or problem aware prospect, right? These two here. And the aware market segment, which is this market segment, is limited with brutal competition. The only brands breaking through the glass ceiling are the ones selling profitably to cold traffic on the front end. And this is why direct response is the only way to scale in today's market. So here's exactly how we apply direct response marketing to this brand. The two highest converting formats from direct response marketing principles that we've validated with this client are point of view advertorials and 7 reasons why pages. So the point of view advertorial funnel looked like this. Essentially, the advertorial that we've used is a long-form editorial-style preset page, and it looks and feels like a piece of media content, but it's designed to educate, entertain, and then obviously to sell, right? So on the one hand side, it has a lot of storytelling. On the one hand side, it has a lot of subtle persuasion. So the prospect doesn't really feel like they're reading an ad. They feel like they're consuming valuable information. So what we do with this advertorial is we warm up the cold traffic and frame them on the problem and solution before introducing the product. We reduce skepticism, right? Because we mimic an editorial content piece, making the message more believable. We have an authority transfer, right? Because if we structure this like an article or expert review, it borrows authority from the publisher voice. And by the time the reader is at the bottom of the page and clicks on the call to action to go to the product page, they are primed and they are curious, right? Which makes this a really, really great funnel. The second funnel we used was the 7 reasons why funnel. So I like to call these listicle. So a listicle is a skimmable preset page that presents information in the form of top 5 reasons, 7 signs, 10 benefits, whatever, right? So this is really, really great for busy readers who don't want to read this long form article. And it really works well because every single point brings them further down the page, and the format feels familiar because you've seen it before on BuzzFeed, news sites, whatever, right? So at the end of the day, this whole funnel, which you've seen here and which you've seen here, is nothing more than a chain of pains and beliefs, right? So the whole goal of a funnel is you want to move someone from the current state of mind to, I want to buy this. And the key in funnels is absolute clarity on which pains need to be established and which beliefs the customers must accept in order to become buyer capable. And then you need to understand that nothing in this whole process can be skipped, and it has to be built in the right sequence. And that means we want to have a preset page that frames the problem, amplifies the desire, and sets the stage, which is then followed by the sales page who converts this into transactions. And the funnel is what takes a stranger from first click to purchase, guiding them through a controlled journey instead of leaving it up to chance. And this is, right, these 2 funnels that have been crushing for this client, and we're able to take them from 624K per month to over 1.35 million, right? Obviously months and months of research and work. So I've just shown you the end state, right, of those funnels and basically what we've used exactly. So what I want to do next is in the next chapter, break down the whole standard operating procedure we follow to building a direct response funnel. So this is the 6-step process. Everything starts with research. On the research, we will then build the offer. With the offer in mind, we will then build the ads, the preset page, and the sales page. We then push everything live and iterate with real market feedback. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real deal, right? Step number 1, market research. You cannot dominate a market you don't understand. The top 1% of marketers are obsessed with consumer psychology. They understand that to sell to someone, you need to know them better than they know themselves. And this is where you find the raw materials for your messaging, your offer, and your entire funnel. So this is the most important step of the whole SOP. Without this, if you just skip this, go straight into offer, ads, funnel, whatever, it's just not going to work. So number 1 of this is you want to identify the core human drivers of behavior. So all successful marketing ties back to the fundamental human desires. Before you look at your product, you need to understand the core drivers of your audience. And these are almost always a variation of mating or fear of death, meaning every single person has 2 things, 2 desires essentially, that every single person on earth has, which on the one hand side, they want to find a partner, be attractive and reproduce. And on the other hand side, they fear that they die or die alone, right? So they have a huge desire for safety, health, and social connection. So that's step number 1. The next is you want to analyze the market sophistication, meaning we've talked about market awareness a lot in terms of how aware your audience is going to be. Now, the next thing is you want to determine how many similar products have been sold to your audience before. So there's 5 different levels, right? Level 1 is basically a new market, so you want to be just super sim indirect. Level 2 to 4 is a growing market, so you want to elaborate your claims and make them bigger. And then level 5 is the saturated market, where you introduce a new mechanism to make your solution unique. So for example, the testosterone supplement market is at level 5, right? So in this case, you would need a new mechanism, because if you go on Facebook and type in testosterone supplement, you're going to find thousands of ads from thousands of companies. So this is a really saturated market. Step number 3, you want to collect customer data. So this will be the basis of your copy and all of the concepts, right? So at this step, you want to deep dive into the world of the target audience. So you want to go to where your audience lives online, listen to their conversations. So for example, you go to forums like Reddit. So you want to find subreddits that are related to your niche, like dating advice, skincare addiction, whatever, right? Something where your target audience is spending their time. And then when you want to look for the raw, unfiltered language people use to describe their problems. Next thing I like to do is I like to go to YouTube channels that my target audience is watching to read the comments of what they write underneath those YouTube videos. The next thing, Amazon reviews. I like to look at the reviews for competing products, right? What do people love about the product? What do they hate? And then the last step is Facebook groups. I just like to join Facebook groups where my target audience hangs out. And then the last step in this is you want to document all of the pains, all of the objections, and all of the excuses, right? So you essentially want to create a playbook which with all of the exact phrases that your audience uses. So I like to cluster these in pains, objections, and excuses, meaning what are their biggest frustrations? So for all of this, I'm going to give you a lot of examples. So me doing the research for the specific testosterone supplement is, they said, I feel like I'm in some sort of matrix where things are just meant to happen for others. Huge objection. Why do they think that they cannot achieve their desired state? And then maybe they say, I don't have enough money, I don't look good enough. And then the last excuse is, who or what do they blame for their problems? It's the woman's fault, it's my parents' fault, my genetics are bad, it's society's fault, whatever, right? So these 3 are super interesting because based on these, we're going to then conceptualize the offer, the copy, the ads, the present, the sales pages to specifically target this. And at the end of step 1, you should have a market research and copywriting playbook. And this can be a Google document or a spreadsheet, which essentially contains the clear definition of your target audience and their core human drivers, an analysis of the market awareness and sophistication level, a list of at least 20 to 30 direct quotes from your target audience talking about their pain points, objections, or excuses, and then based on that, a couple of emotional angles that you can use in your marketing. And again, this is the foundation for everything that we're going to do in the next steps. So do not proceed to the next step until this is complete. So the next step is then to create your offer, meaning the exact angle, the exact avatar, and the exact mechanism. You've dissected the market and now you know their deepest fears and desires. So now you need to forge an offer that's compelling, irresistible, and my favorite sentence, it cuts through the noise like a hot knife through butter. So this isn't about slapping a discount on your product that you're already selling. This is about engineering a code-friendly offer that resonates with an audience that doesn't even know they have a problem yet. So I've said it before, I will say it again, the make or break of every business is the offer. If the offer isn't right, nothing else matters. So in this case, it's about setting a transformation through a unique mechanism that solves a deep, often unacknowledged problem for a precisely defined avatar. And this is where you create your artificial blue ocean, making a competition irrelevant. Now, number 1 step in this is you want to define your avatar, right? So who are you actually talking to? You really want to write down who they are, right? So what are the deepest fears? What are their desires? What are their frustrations? What do they wish for? What keeps them up at night? What are their values, their beliefs, aspirations? What kind of language they use? What media do they consume? What are their hobbies? What are their friends? What are the demographics? Where do they live, right? So all of these questions, you want to really nail down your customer avatar. Once you've done that, the next is then you want to develop your angle. Number 2 is you want to disrupt their current reality, meaning your angle is the unique perspective or promise that disrupts their current reality. It makes them stop and pay attention and think like, what? This is interesting. So it's really the unique entry point into their mind, and this is designed to bypass the skepticism. So this is why the market research and the avatar is so important, because it's all about resonating with a specific avatar, right? And that's what I mean with a knife that cuts through hot butter. You really need to resonate like crazy with one specific customer avatar, and you can only do that if you can really understand them better than they understand themselves. The next is problem solution reframe. So often the most powerful angles reframe a common problem in a new light or present a solution they never considered. So this is one headline that we wrote. The unfair advantage that allows some guys to magically attract girls and slide from one relationship into the next while you struggle to get any dates, let alone a match on Tinder, right? So what we do with this is we basically, based on the research, we know that they blame everybody else, and we basically tell them, look, it's not your fault. There's just this unfair advantage that all of these other guys have that are super successful with girls that you don't have, but you can attain this unfair advantage, right? So this is an amazing hook and this crush for this offer. Then the next thing is you want to create your unique mechanism. So you essentially want to give them a new way of doing things, right? So what you can see, and I'm just going to tie this back to the introduction. I've applied a lot of these direct response principles to the introduction and specifically to this document, right? So as you see, I've literally used the principles to write the introduction to make the introduction interesting. So I said, hey, this is the old way. It doesn't work. It's really bad. And this is the new way, right? So essentially, I'm giving you a unique mechanism, meaning the direct response marketing. So I'm using direct response marketing to make direct response marketing interesting to you. So just as a caveat on this, but essentially, we want to use a unique mechanism, and it's essentially the new way. So your mechanism should present a new, easier, faster, or more effective way to solve the problem. It should differentiate you from all of the other solutions, even those that appear similar. So if you think about the keynote body example, we didn't just sell them a diet or exercise, right? So it was the aggressive fat loss protocol, it was the warrior shredding program, or it were specific branded mechanisms. So how does your mechanism deliver your promise? This is the second thing with the unique mechanism. It's the most crucial element. Your mechanism is the proprietary process system or methodology that delivers the desired transformation. So on the one hand side, we have the promise that we give them, and on the other side, we have the unique mechanism, which is your solution that gets them to the promise you make to them. So it's not really what you say, but how you deliver the result, right? And this is really what gives the juice to your offer and makes your offer unique and defensible, because otherwise you're just selling a generic product in a commodity market. So at the end of this step number 2 is you should have a detailed avatar profile, you should have a collection of strong angles you're going to use, and you should have a definition of your unique mechanism. So step number 3 in this process are the ads. At this point, you've done the foundation work, you understand your market, and you crafted an irresistible offer. Now we need to build the ads to drive traffic to this offer, and afterwards, in the next steps, we're going to build a funnel that then converts the traffic. So the way that I think about ads is your ads are nothing more than a tool to capture attention and drive it to your offer. So your ads are the first step in taking a cold prospect from completely unaware to ready to buy. So if your ads don't cut through the noise, nothing else will work in the funnel. So the ads basically are the hook, the narrative, and the call to action, meaning with the hook, you, again, disrupt the pattern, right? So your ads need to be a pattern interrupt, and you really want to build something that's new, right? So I use this phrase all of the time, cut like a knife through on butter. So you don't just want to be shocking or whatever. You want to build something essentially that's really intriguing or directly relevant to your avatar's deepest desires, right? So they cannot ignore the ad. And this is when you're going to find that everything ties back into each other, right? And that's why it's a really great SOP. Market research first, understand them. Secondly, build the offer, avatar angle. Based on the angle and the avatar, you then build the ads, right? And so on and so on. Next is you want to leverage your angles. So essentially the angles that you've built here are the basis for the hook and the ads. And then the last thing is the visual and auditory impact, right? So either you're going to have a video or you're going to have an image, but essentially it needs to convey the essence of your hook, right? So for the video, it should be in the first 3 to 5 seconds. For an image, it's the immediate visual appeal in the headline. The second thing in the ad is the narrative, right? So you want to agitate the pain, right? So you want to be able to articulate the problem they have better than they can themselves. And then secondly, you want to introduce your unique mechanism. So you want to present your solution as the logical, inevitable answer. So let's just say with this example that I've used earlier with this, this is essentially the main hook that we had, right? And then, for example, it could be a video like 60 seconds, person talking to the camera, and then the hook could be something like, do you know why certain guys just seem to get any girl they want, right? And then we just elaborate on that. But this is essentially then the hook. And then we go into the pain and everything and say, look, maybe you've tried pickup artist techniques, maybe you tried going to the gym, maybe you tried making more money, but nothing worked. And you ask yourself, why does nothing work, right? Well, there's an unfair advantage, yada, 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 right? We've been through this, but this is how you could structure the ad. And then the call to action for the ad, right? Call to action is essentially just what do we want them to do next. So it's a really low commitment action. So going on with this example that I just did is we would then say, hey, there's an unfair advantage, and then it would just be call to action. If you want to understand this unfair advantage and how you can attain the same, then just click on the link. It's going to take you to a page where I have a 10-minute video explaining everything you need to know about this unfair advantage. And that's essentially the ad, right? So it's the whole make or break is really the hook and then the narrative, which are bases on your market research and the angle, avatar, and everything that we've spoken about before. So here are some great examples of image ads, right? So as you can see, there's different variations of image ads. So let's just look at this, right? Just this one right now. So this is a supplement company and they're selling menopause supplements to women. So essentially what you can see here in the image, and this is really, really great. If you think about the customer avatar, right? Customer avatar is like 40 to 70-year-old women. What are one of their main pain points, right, that they have? Well, they are in their menopause, everything is changing, hormones is changing, and then one main pain point is going to be that they are just not going to have that much enjoyable sex with their significant other anymore, right? So this is the main pain point that they're utilizing here in the copy and in the image. And then what you can also see in the image, it's a woman, she's looking really sad, and then she has these thoughts like, maybe I'm broken, maybe this is just aging, maybe I'm just not trying hard enough, maybe the system wasn't built for me. Then you can see she's tried a lot of supplements that didn't work. She tried coconut oil as a lubricant, didn't work, right? So you can, this is like the perfect visualization of the current state of the prospect. And then in the copy, you're going to see, if men lost the ability to have pleasurable sex after 45, there'd be government grants, primetime documentaries, and 7 new pills by Christmas. But when women lose natural lubrication, when intimacy turns into pain, yada, 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 right? And then the hook here is men get medicine, women get menopause, right? So essentially, they really play with the consideration of the customer avatar and also say, hey, men can just buy Viagra, Cialis, whatever, and there's nothing on the market for you, but we changed this. So that's what makes this ad really great, because it really cuts through knife like warm butter. So you can, again, look at these ads, look at some Facebook ad libraries, but these are just amazing examples. So at the end of this step, you should have a batch of video and image ads that really trigger your target audience and drive traffic to your offer, right? You should have an ad matrix, meaning a breakdown and explanation per creative batch where you, for yourself, internally write down the angle used, hook, copy, style of ad, and then also some form of strategy of how you're going to launch and test these based on your specific KPIs that you have for testing creatives. Pre-sale page is the step number 4, right? Because at this step, we have the ads, and the next step is the funnel where we push them into. So again, we cannot just send this traffic directly into the product page. So we have to build a pre-sale page first to agitate the pain, educate them, and build trust before pitching them. So high level, the pre-sale page follows this framework. We have the introduction, we have the education, transition, and the pitch, right? So this is, again, I'm going to break this down in great detail. This is just a high-level overview of the framework that the pre-sale page follows. So the introduction, right? We essentially want to have a hook with the pain and the goal. So the above the fold section of the pre-sale page serves as congruence to your ad and should present an aspirational goal and desired outcome. After you've shown them that, you then want to relate to their pain, right? Because before you can offer a solution, you first must articulate the problem better than the audience can themselves. So you want to tap into pain points that keep them up at night, use language that resonates deeply, reflecting the specific circumstances and emotional state. So, for example, instead of saying you're overweight, here's a product to solve this, you're going to say something like this. The one thing women in their 40s who still have the body of an 18-year-old do different in their diet, while you have tried everything from keto to tracking calories, but still cannot get rid of those last 10 points, which completely destroys your confidence, right? So we're not just telling them you're overweight, we are making it super, super specific. We tell them there's women that have what they want, and we tell them that everything they've tried fails and how they feel about it. So we relate to their pain. We then next want to show them their desired transformation. So once we've articulated the pain, the next step is then to illustrate their desired transformation. So this is where you shift their focus from currently how they feel to a future which is filled with possibility and relief. So you want to focus on the emotional and practical outcomes. So if your audience is struggling with being overweight, the desired transformation isn't just losing weight. It's something like you want to feel confident in your body again, you want to be happy when you look in the mirror, and you want to be attractive to the opposite sex. So this is actually what they want. It's losing weight is just the means to an end, right? But this is the end. This is how you want to think about it. Next thing is you want to educate them on why do they currently experience the pain. And this is probably the most crucial element of this education phase before we then go into transition. So you must actually provide a compelling explanation of why they are experiencing this. And this positions you as the expert who possesses unique insights into their situation. So in most cases, your prospect doesn't understand why they're experiencing this pain. So your role is to help them understand why they're struggling. So if your audience, and I'm just going to continue this example, if your audience is struggling with weight loss, you might educate them on pitfalls around conventional dieting and introduce the concept of metabolic flexibility. The next big part is then the transition, right? So we now have the introduction, we have the education, and now we want to transition. So we want to show them all of the possible solutions, right? So before we actually present them our solution, we want to acknowledge and outline the existing landscape of solutions that your audience is probably going to be aware of, or they have even tried them, right? What this does is it basically demonstrates that you have an amazing understanding of their journey, and also you validate their past efforts, even if those efforts were unsuccessful. So if your unique mechanism is a new approach to fitness, you might briefly mention that, hey, you've tried traditional diets, you've tried extreme workout regimens or generic health supplements. And the key is to present these solutions neutrally, right? So you just want to say, look, these are all of the options out in the market, so that then in the next step you can explain why they actually don't work. So you then must articulate why these solutions often fail to deliver their desired lasting results. And this is again where everything ties back into the custom avatar and understanding exactly the deep desires and pain points, because nuances are super important here. Because you're explaining the underlying flaws, the limitations, or the missing pieces where all of these other solutions that they could do fail. So, example given. If you talk about traditional diets, you could, for example, explain how they often lead to metabolic slowdown, nutrition deficiencies, or unsustainable lifestyle changes. And your explanation to why they don't work should always be logical and evidence-based, because you want to resonate with your audience's experiences of frustration and failure. And then the last thing is you want to introduce a unique mechanism. So after all of the other solutions, explaining them why they don't work, you then smoothly want to transition into setting the stage for your solution. Right? And you also want to set the stage to why this is groundbreakingly different to everything they've tried and all the solutions we just ripped apart. So let's say you've just ripped apart traditional diets and or why they are bad for your metabolism. Your unique mechanism then might be a new supplement that optimizes metabolic function and helps with fat burn. And that takes us into part 3, the pitch. So step 1, you want to explain the unique mechanism. We precisely explain how our unique mechanism works. So for example, we say unique mechanism is this new supplement, it optimizes metabolic function, and the ingredients, for example, they block the body's natural processes to store fat, it reshifts the metabolism to burn fat and carbs, it increases the metabolic function and the caloric burn rate. So best case is that you have 3 to 5 logical steps for the unique mechanism, and each step logically follows the next, and all of these are pieces of one big puzzle. Then you want to provide proof. So literally just over bombard them with proof of how dozens of other people similar to the avatar you're selling to have already tried this, achieved the desired results, and why your audience needs to have this so that they're able to envision themselves achieving similar results. And you can do this by showing them testimonials, case studies, data, expert endorsements, or demonstrations. And then you want to handle objections. So after all of this work, your prospect is still probably going to have doubts or objections. So the common objections often revolve around price point, time on effort, risk, or skepticism, meaning you want to have an FAQ section or a section where you handle those objections. And then lastly, you have the call to action. So the call to action is the definite instruction that guides your now primed audience to take the next step. So we typically like to have something like click here to check availability, claim your life-changing offer now, and then optional, you can also add urgency or scarcity, something like offer ends soon, we only have limited spots available. And here I've linked you some great example pages, some of these which we have built ourselves, like Primal Harvest, and then you can just check these out here. So at the end of the step, you should have built at least one pre-sale page based on your key angle. And again, these are different pages. I've given you, this is a great example for a listicle page. This is a great example for a long form advertorial page. And this is a great example for a comparison page. So the next step is then the sales page or the product page, because this is where the conversion happens. The pre-sale page does the warming job and the sales page has to close. And closing means clarity, right? So every single question in the prospect minds has to be answered. If you think about the formula for conversions, it's you have to have an irresistible offer, they have to have trust, they have to have the motivation, which we build with the pre-sale page, and they cannot have any objections. If all of this fits into place, then we have a conversion. Most brands do mess this up, right? They build a short sales page, some images, price, reviews. It's not enough, right? So a high converting sales page is long form, layered, and structured around psychology. So here's how to do it. And this is an amazing example for a sales page. Again, going to break all of this down for you. So the sales page essentially should have a great hero section, key value proposition section, ingredient feature breakdown, objection handling sections, social proof and authority, education demonstration, and an FAQ section. So these are typically the sections we like to have on a sales page. Again, this is just the above the fold, and then you can see here going into the VSL. So for the above the fold, you want to have really great product images. Again, I have the complete SOP for product images here, so I recommend you to check that out if product images need to be improved on your end. Essentially, you want to answer these 8 questions with your product images. So what do they buy? What's in it for them? Is it actually for them? What do they get? Can they trust the product? Can they trust the brand? Who is this from? And then can they trust the brand? And is this worth it? You then have a main headline or value proposition. You want to have social proof and then a strong call to action. The next section is then essentially a key value proposition section. So what you can see here is essentially like a headline that reframes the product, a short copy breaking down the main benefits, and then visuals or icons to simplify the points. You then want to have a breakdown, ingredient feature breakdown, meaning you show ingredients and components, and you want to then tie each specific customer benefit to an ingredient or feature of your product. You then have an objection handling section, right? So you take the biggest objections and destroy them or solve them. You have a social proof and authority section where you review highlights, where you show media and PR. And if you don't have celebs, I would use authentic UGC and authority figures. And then the last 2 sections are the education demonstration. I like to have some form of short form VSL or like a product demo or how to use tutorials. And then lastly, you want to always close with an FAQ section. So real questions taken from surveys and answer them clearly at the bottom to reduce last second hesitation. So if we look at this page, this is a really, really great sales page, which we've basically optimized for over 2.5 years now. And here you can see that every single section that I've shown you earlier is done here. So this is a really, really great example. Now, the last step after all of this, after you've launched it, is iteration, right? So most founders think growth comes from bigger ad budgets, right? And that's itself is wrong. So scaling isn't about throwing more money at traffic. It's about turning the traffic you already have into more revenue. And that's where the last step, which is conversion optimization, sets in, which is the process of pressure testing every single step of your funnel, finding the leaks and stacking wins until your system compounds. So we want to validate everything with real market feedback. We track exactly how people move through the funnel, where they get stuck, which hooks pull the hardest, and which objections block the sale, and then we iterate based on that. So once the foundation, which we built in step 1 to 5 earlier, is proven, we then polish every single touch point, every single impression, every single step of the whole funnel from the angle, the flows, the offer, the backend, so you can maximize funnel performance. So you don't want to just change the button color or whatever. You need to have high leverage tests that really can boost your revenue by 10 to 30% overnight. So these are the 5 areas that I would really focus on with iterating on the funnel. So above the fold, meaning the first screen that people see after the ad. The offer framing, meaning can you do anything to raise your average order value, lower your customer acquisition cost by bundling, subscription, whatever. Social proof and authority, are all your reviews, testimonials, and press releases visible before they even have objections? Is the checkout flow really great and removes friction? And do you have a clean post-purchase upsell flow that increases customer lifetime value? So anything you do should run in one of these 5 areas. So now that you've watched the first video, let's actually look at a case study, right? Because we've implemented this full funnel system for hundreds of brands, and with this specific case study, we've implemented the system and helped them grow from 10 million per year to about $21 million per year. So let's look at this case study together. Essentially, what we did is, instead of pushing ads to a product page where we had an average order value of $135 for this brand with a conversion of 1.97%, we decided to build a complete end-to-end direct response funnel and started pushing more ad spend to that one, which over the course of 12 months enabled this brand to double the revenue and go to an average order value of $191 with a conversion rate of 3.44%. So essentially, we ran the exact same offer, slightly different ads, and now we pushed them into direct response funnel again. The difference was pretty sick in terms of average order value, conversion rate, and essentially doubling the revenue. And why did this work so well? Well, to understand that, we first have to take a step back and look at the market high level, right? So what most brands do is they focus on selling their product to really product aware or most aware segment of the market, which is this bottom of funnel segment here. And while it's the easiest to sell to them because they're ready to buy, it's also the smallest total addressable market segment with the most competition, because obviously most of your competitors and most brands generally that are running ads are focusing on this market segment. So typically you're going to hit a ceiling somewhere around 20 to 40K per day in revenue. So what we do instead is we implement a direct response funnel that enables us to sell to the unaware segment of the market. So prospects that don't even know they have a problem, or prospects that are just aware that they have a problem and are now looking for a solution. So this is the hardest to sell audience, because obviously they are the coldest. You have to do the most to convince them. You have to build trust, educate them, yada, yada, yada. So it's super difficult to sell to this audience. But once you crack it, it's amazing, because it's the biggest market size logically, with the biggest total addressable market and the least competition, which is why we're able to scale so many brands so quickly in this market segment. And we're only able to do that with a direct response funnel. Now, if you've never heard of that, a direct response funnel is essentially a chain of pains and beliefs established with one goal, which is moving someone from their current state of mind where they didn't even know they have a problem, they just know they have a problem, to I want to buy this product. And the key in funnels is that we have absolute clarity on what exactly are the pains that need to be established and what are the beliefs that the customer must accept in order to become buyer capable. Then you need to understand that nothing in this process can be scaled, and it has to be built in the right sequence, right? So from the ad to the pre-sale page, to the product page, to the checkout, every single step builds awareness and every single step increases the conversion intent. So most people make mistakes here, right? They miss one of the essential layers of the funnel simply because they're not even aware those layers exist. That's why so many people still run ads to a product page and wonder why they stuck at 10K per day. And that means we need a preset page to frame the problem, we need to amplify the desire, we need to set the stage, and all of that is followed by a sales page that converts attention into transactions. The funnel is what takes a stranger from first click to first purchase, guiding them through a controlled journey instead of leaving it up to chance. Note Before we get into the video, before I break down how to use direct response funnels, we have super strong NDAs with most of our clients because they obviously don't want us to share their brand, product, ads, and what they're doing, which is why I'm going to break down the core principles on how to use direct response funnels with the examples from AG1 and their publicly available funnels. So this stuff you can find online. If you just go through the ad library, do some reverse engineering, you can find all of this stuff online, because again, we have super strong NDAs, especially with this brand where we had this great case study now, which is why I'm just going to break down the general principles here for you. So looking at a funnel, a direct response funnel high level, this is essentially what it looks like. So we have ads that we don't directly push to a product page. Instead, we have ads that we push to a pre-sale page. And only if on the pre-sale page, they click on the call to action, we then push them to the offer page or product page. And then from there, they go into the checkout. Now that's the super high level idea of a direct response funnel. And I will just break this down for you high level with 2 different examples from AG1. And then afterwards, I'm also going to show you a bunch of different ad creatives that you can use. And then also the exact style and the exact framework of how to build advertorials and how to build listicles, which are the 2 most famous preset page templates that you can use pretty much. And these are also the exact templates that we've used for dozens of clients that crushed every single time. So literally just going to hand you everything on a silver platter in this video for you to be able to scale your brand much further, way quicker, and make a lot of money. So please thank me one day if you're rich. So basically, what we start with are prospecting ads, meaning these are typically top of funnel ads, right, that are designed and focused on a certain pain point of the ICP while pre-handling common objections. So this is what it can look like, right? Just a static ad creative where it says, feeding that mid-afternoon slump, AG1 contains essential vitamins and minerals that support energy yielding, metabolism, keeping you steady throughout the day. So this is focused on the angle of the energy level, right? So then we pushed it to a preset page where essentially we follow the exact same angle. Say goodbye to energy drinks and coffee. AG1 is the daily health drink for sustained energy plus so much more. From there, as soon as they click on a call to action, we then push them to the offer page, right? If they don't click, they are being retargeted with more middle of funnel ads, bottom of funnel ads that focus on social proof by showing UGC content of the ideal customer. Note, copy and positioning with the specific angle energy match perfectly throughout the whole funnel, meaning you have to be really, really congruent. So if we have a prospecting ad and the preset page, they're all focused on energy, or for example, pain point of afternoon slump, then the retargeting ads obviously have to follow the exact same angle. Now, as soon as they click through that, we then push them to an offer page and then into the checkout. Now, this is one example of a funnel with energy level. Here would be the second example with the exact same offer basically, but now focused on gut health. So again, we have prospecting ads where we focus on a certain pain point. For example, bloated, meet your new gut routine. Or here, you can see it's essentially the exact same angle, copy and stuff, just with different creatives. And then this would be pushed also to a preset page. Now the preset page has this exact same blueprint, but it has the same angle now. So bloating, goodbye bloating, hello energy, AG1 is packed with probiotics and so much more in just one scoop, right? Again, if they click, you push them into the offer page, product page, where they can buy the product and then into the checkout. If they don't click, you retarget them with some more educational content that builds authority, right? And then you push them back to the preset page. So that's essentially the idea of direct response funnels. So you want to have one super specific angle for one exact customer avatar, and then throughout the whole funnel, you use ads that have that exact angle for this exact customer avatar. You push to a preset page with the exact same angle, exact same avatar to have congruency. You then push it to a product page or offer page with the exact same angle, congruency, and all of the ads and all of the retargeting ads follow the exact same angle. Now, this is how to utilize direct response funnels. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to break down what the different ad concepts are that you can use for this, and then also the exact preset page, blueprints for the advertorial, and also for the listicle. So there's different styles of ad creatives that you can utilize, right? The first one are 1 to 5 minute video sales setters, which are essentially mini sales setters in video form. They combine a story, problem, and solution into a structured narrative that just feels like general content that they would watch on Facebook or the IG, right? They're long enough to build belief, but short enough to keep attention on cold traffic, and it's perfect to prime the prospect before they ever hit your pre-sale page. So I'm going to link you the Facebook ad libraries just so you can check them out and watch them yourself. These are both from good friends of mine that are running Neuro and Spartan, which are both 9-figure brands, crushing, and they have a amazing multitude of VSL ad creatives in their Facebook ad library, so I really suggest you to check them out. The second ad style are cartoon and textbook ads, so these evoke curiosity and get attention. These are amazing examples of those styles of ad creatives, right? Just because people, as soon as they click on this, they feel like they're going to read an article and learn something, right? So it's perfect because you catch them really off guard, essentially. And then the last style are authority ads. So here you leverage credibility with clickbait or press style formats that are designed to hit prospects who are problem aware and want to get a solution, which is something like this, right? So these are a bit different because this really seems like a cartoon, textbook, some form of like explanation ad, and these one are more like press-ish ads, authority ads, clickbait ads, where they really feel like they're clicking on an article, right? So these are the different ad creatives that work really well. Now, let's look at the preset pages. So the preset page has the main goal of following this framework, right? So first of all, you want to dive deep into the pain point. You then want to show them their desired transformation. You want to educate them around how they're able to go from their current situation with the pain to their desired transformation. Then you want to show them different solutions that they can essentially get, and then also why all of these don't work. You then want to introduce your own solution as a unique mechanism and the only way of them actually getting their desired transformation, also explaining why this really will help them now and why everything else that they tried before just doesn't work. You then want to give them proof. You want to handle all of the objections and then have a call to action. Again, there's two different styles of preset pages that we like to use across our clients. One is the long form advertorial style, which we more use for like a super specific long form angle. The second one is a listicle, where we have something like 7 reasons why everyone is going crazy about this product, which is more of like a BuzzFeed-ish style, which makes it a bit easier to read and to consume. So I would test both of these. We always test both of these, and then also a couple more that I will break down in one of the next videos in terms of pre-sale page styles. But yeah, I would definitely try both of these just to see what resonates better with your audience. Now let's have a look at the advertorial style together. The first advertorial is really a point of view advertorial, right? So I'm just going to show this high level. So this is like the general advertorial flow on desktop, on mobile. And then a second advertorial is more of like a listicle that you've probably seen before, like 7 reasons why this target audience is obsessing with this new product, right? And then both of these have the call to action at the bottom. Now let's dive into the first advertorial. And again, this is literally exactly the exact copy structure, the exact design structure, the exact flow that we used for our client. It's just that we switched out obviously the brand and came up with a new product and a new custom avatar just to really keep them confidential. But still, you could literally copy this one by one and then just put in your customer avatar, your product, your brand and everything, and this will crush. Now, let's get into this. So I always have the desktop here and then mobile here. I just like to break these down on desktop just because it's bigger, and I'm also working on desktop right now. So what we have in the opening scene here is just: my battle with relentless weight gain had me hopeless until I discovered this. So if you look at the headline here, we have a really great hook, right? So we suggest that it's a battle, right? That they are going through something bad. And then we call out the problem, right? The pain point that they have right now, relentless weight gain, and then left me hopeless. So we have 2 different mechanisms, right? My battle and hopeless, that both tie into the pain point of relentless weight gain and really agitate the problem that they're facing right now. And then the second part of the hook is until I discovered this, meaning we give them a sense of hope, right? And then what you see here in the image is the desired transformation, right, of them losing weight and being skinny. Then what we do here is we basically show them different press releases, trust, magazines, something like that, right? Just to really set the frame and set the authority here that they can trust us. And then we start with the whole advertorial. So what we do basically in this first paragraph, right? I'm just going to read through it a little bit. If you've struggled with weight gain before, you know it can creep up slow, but what if it becomes unmanageable, right? Is there something deeper going on? What's actually normal? So here we resonate with them. For example, if you find yourself Googling, why can I lose weight? Why am I always tired and bloated? You're far from alone. Maybe you've blamed it on metabolism, blah, 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 right? So in the opening paragraph, just like a general approach to resonate with them, right? That's the main idea. We really want to resonate with the prospect. Then the next thing that we want to do is we want to educate them, right? So education is here. So why do some people struggle to lose weight no matter what they try? And this is also a really nice one. From a scientific perspective, there's no single answer to why weight won't come off despite diet and exercise. So however, holistic nutritionists agree that stubborn weight gain is often just a surface symptom of something much deeper. And here we already want to educate them and give them the feeling of there's something deep that you have to fix to then lose weight, right? So here we educate them and we also prep them for the unique mechanism that we want to pitch to them later, right? So we already planned the idea in the mind that it's something much deeper. Again, don't want to read through everything. You can do that in your own time if you want to. Just want to give you a high-level overview. So for example here, it's simple. By first understanding the hidden causes that experienced nutritionists experts have identified, these include hormonal imbalances, micronutrient deficiencies, yada, yada, yada. So again, this whole section, education and prep for the unique mechanism. Then again, we educate them around their current situation, right? Education around their current situation, so they can also resonate with this. Why do they crave unhealthy food? And then we basically educate them around certain people develop a pattern of craving junk food, even if they know that it's harming their health, right? So again, here we say it's something way deeper than just lack of willpower. Then we just kind of go through this, right, in the whole paragraph, educate them on that. And then we start introducing the solution. So what can you have to do your body? Most people turn to diet plans or fitness program the moment stubborn weight becomes a concern, right? But again, the real problem isn't a medical emergency. It's an internal imbalance. Right, many people battling this problem actually dealing with something that's way deeper. So then we just kind of dive deeper into what we open up here. So nutrition deficiency, acid overload, and just educate them on that. And then we show them the solution, right? So as you can see, we basically have the whole hook. We have the we want to resonate with them first and really kind of hook them in. Then we start educating them around their current situation, and we already prep for the unique mechanism. Then we educate them some more around the current situation, and then again we start the opening paragraph to then introduce the solution, right? So breakthrough solution targets root cause of weight retention naturally. Our partner, working with leading nutritionists and wellness expert, has created a breakthrough nutritional solution designed to address stubborn weight from the inside out, and it's already helped thousands reset their metabolism safely and effectively. And what you're going to find with all of this, we still don't show them a brand, we still don't show them a product or an offer or a price point. We really want to build their desire for this really, really high before we start pitching them. So then again here, we show them. Firstly, we showed them like two girls that are like super skinny already. And then here we basically future pace them a bit, right? Future pace and show them utilizing this solution and seeing the first results. So we future pace them with the image that we show and then also the copy. And then we just here make a lot of how do you say? So a lot of like benefits, USPs and everything, and then show them like a testimonial already. Then we say, hey, we have hundreds of thousands of customers. It's amazing, right? Super great product. And then we just basically explain how it works, right? Again, going into the before situation, into the after situation, showcasing them the desired transformation that they have, and then also just some more education around exactly how it works. And then at the bottom of the page, we then have the offer, right? Now, as soon as they click on the offer, we then push them to the sales page. And again, this isn't the client where we did it. This also isn't the client. This is just another client of us where I just wanted to took like a product page screenshot from. So just like a general product page, nice long form product page, where we then show them the product and then they can add it to cart and then they can buy it, right? So that's generally the flow. Now this was the flow number 1 that we created, and then the flow number 2 was more of like a generalistical, right? Where we say, hey, 7 reasons why anyone struggling with weight should try these supplements. And then we basically show them 7 images and 7 reasons that basically pitches the supplement to them, right? So the general approach that we have to this is it can be 5, it can be 7, it can be 10. We've done a lot of variations to this, right? So just play around with it. So if we look at these 7, right, it's generally a mixture of USPs of the product, desired situation, how it's going to solve their current pains, and why it's amazing, right? And then also like building trust. So that's like the general mixture. So as you can see here, reduce cravings naturally. There would be desired situation, boost immune system. That's a bit more general, I would say, like USP and trust. Reduces bloating, digestive issue is again desired situation, and a bit of like their current pain. This is not going to look good, but just to kind of drive the point home. Then again, here we have trust. Here we have trust with the doctor. So that's basically like the mixture that we do here. So each of these should showcase the USP of the product, should showcase the desired situation or current pain, and then build the trust. So when they read through this, right? So when they read through all of these at the bottom, they basically then are super hyped for this. And we tested both of these, and both of these worked amazingly well. And then both of these have the exact same flow afterwards, where they click to a call to action, then go to the product page, and then to the checkout, right? So like the flow of the funnel is the same, but the style of these 2 advertorials is a bit different, right? So basically it's crushing for this brand. So we just started duplicating it to more and more products, more and more customer avatars, and just build a lot of variations of exactly this advertorial with different angles for different customer avatars and different products. And now we have over 10 to 15 already different variations of this, and now just basically horizontally scale all of these. Now these are the 2 different styles of preset pages, but that's essentially the whole idea of a direct response funnel, right? You really want to have focus on the top of funnel, as I've explained earlier here, and you can only do that by pushing them to a preset page first, because then you're going to be able to educate them, build on their pain, show them the desired transformation, build trust, handle off the objections, and all of that happens before you pitch them the product. And that's why these funnels are crushing. Now you just saw the case study of how we implemented the whole direct response marketing framework. And one of the next things that I want to share with you is our VSL SOP, right? Video sales letters. You've probably seen them, you've probably heard of them, and you've probably already wondered how you can use them yourself. So what I'm going to teach you now is how to really work with VSLs, and then I'm also going to break down the whole case study of how we've implemented VSLs successfully for one of our clients. The case study that we're going to break down today is from KinoBuddy, right? You've probably seen Greg before on social media. I've myself watched him for over 10 years now. He's one of the biggest personal brands in the male fitness space. And one of his products that he was selling is the testosterone supplement called Kino Mojo, right? And he got a lot of organic traction really, really fast because of his large social following. But he wasn't really able to scale the supplement on Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Simply because the market has been penetrated by dozens of similar products. If you go into the Facebook ad library right now, you're going to find thousands of competitors selling some form of variation of a testosterone supplement. Now, it really worked well on this organic following, right? But not really for cold traffic. So what we did is we completely revamped the product messaging, created a unique bundle, crafted a basically completely new offer with another supplement that we bundled together in a stack, and then also digital product. If you want to understand more about the code-friendly offer, then I suggest clicking on this. It's basically the complete breakdown of how we build code-friendly offers for our clients. But then the main driver for the whole success of this funnel was a carefully crafted direct response VSL. So I'm going to break down this complete video sales data in great detail, every single word that we have written down in this VSL, every single second. It's a 14 minute VSL that we're going to dissect together today. But before I do that in detail, I want to share the exact practices and principles behind doing this, right? So basically all of the research, all of the SOPs, everything that's going into crafting a video sales setup, right? Because if I just show you the case and explain it, that's great, but then you don't really understand how to use this and replicate this whole funnel system, the whole VSL for your brand and your product successfully. So that's why I want to talk about the VSL principles first, right? So first of all, I want to touch a bit about why are we using VSLs, right? So if you want to scale profitably beyond 8 figures per year, beyond $1 million a month, you need to focus more on cold traffic, right? I've just recorded a video about this with another case study of a client of ours where we took them from 60,000 per day to 100,000 per day in just 3 months. So I suggest watching that, where I explain more about how to utilize code-friendly funnels. But the main concept, and I'm just going to jump in this mirror bot really quick, is that basically, if you look at the funnel, right, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, I always like to draw it as a V shape, right? And the reason because of this is that the more unaware the prospects are, the bigger the total addressable market is, right? This top of funnel audience. And most brands are just going for this bottom of funnel audience where they are most aware or they are ready to buy a product, but it's also a way smaller market segment, right? Which is why if you want to scale past around $1 million a month, or 8 figures per year, you really need to go upwards this funnel and target the more less aware people. So that's why I write converting cold traffic. So you should utilize VSLs if you already scaled your ads and if you know which avatars and which angles are the best converting and most profitable. So with KinoBuddy, what we found is that obviously for the testosterone supplement, one of the mass marketing desires is dating. Right? If we think about the main psychological drivers following Eugene Schwartz, we have mating on the one hand side and fear of dying on the other hand side, right? So we quickly figured out that we should use dating as the main angle because it's such a base desire of every single human being. So we could have used the angle of muscle building, cognitive performance, boosting confidence, yada, 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 right? But the dating angle was proven to work. So this is why you really need to have a good understanding of your avatar and your angle first. Because if you're going to craft a VSL and you just speak to everyone, nobody's really going to listen, right? Maybe you're familiar with the sentence, riches are in the niches. Ads are way easier to test and iterate rather than the funnel behind them. So you want to invest resources in what is already working rather than always getting distracted by the next shiny object. So if you don't know what works, you should figure it out before then doing huge resources into it and before then crafting a VSL, right? So just because we have great success with VSLs for a lot of our clients, please do the research and do the heavy lifting first before just copy and pasting this. Now, bonus, if you add a VSL to an already profitable angle, you will automatically create full funnel congruency, right? And this is increasing conversion rate and is violated by a lot of brands. So how do you find a profitable angle in avatar? The foundation effect is everyone has access to the same information, so you really need to maximize on what others do not do or what others don't have, right? So you want to use strategic leverage and you want to put in effort where it brings you the most return on invest. And in this case, it's research, copywriting, and production, which we're going to break down now. Now, with research, everybody thinks, okay, I already do that, right? But in reality, most brands are just looking at their competitors, looking at the Facebook ad library, or just put stuff into ChatGPT and say, analyze my customer avatar. And that's not research, right? And that's why also so many brands and the messaging seems generic and easily interchangeable. So you need to do things differently to differentiate your brand and product from the rest. And this will get you out of the red ocean and allows you not only to convert way more traffic, but also increase your average order value, because you will be perceived as the only option, the best option. Not because of completely different product, new product, whatever, simply because of superior messaging. And this is mostly because you don't really need to reinvent the wheel, right? It's just because you have the most control and therefore leverage that you can apply in your marketing. And also you have the biggest perceived value of your product because of the messaging that you now have cracked. And in order to craft a superior message, you need to master research and put way more effort into the research process than everybody else is doing. So here are 3 incredibly underused but highly effective ways to do better research for message mining. One is a really optimized post-purchase survey, right? So meaning talking to your existing customers. I like to send out emails to the existing customer base. I like to get on the phone with the existing customers, really do post-purchase surveys and all of that. I like to do deep dives into Reddit. And I like to use something what I like to call psychological profiling with tools like the Motive Compass and mass desire identification. I've broken down this whole process in the master thesis that I've linked here, and this is going to take over 80% of your time and effort. And by the way, I've also included all of the SOPs that we use for research in this master thesis, so I really suggest you to check this out. Now, I know this sounds simple, right? And that's why most people don't do it, but that's why this is your opportunity to get competitive advantage. You have to think about everybody else, right? They are all lazy. They all just want to copy what works from somebody else. So it's, first of all, that's the research, right? But then it's not enough to just understand your ICP and theory with data. You need to put it in practice with exceptional copywriting. So again, copywriting, same with research, is a term that everybody seems to know, right? But only few really understand what it means. And even fewer can put it into practice and make top 1% of money with copywriting. So really, really hot recommendation is to read Breakthrough Advertising from Eugene Schwartz, right? This book, I've also gifted this book to hundreds of friends, and also sometimes I did presentations on stage where I would give this book away because it's so valuable. So please read this book. Now, the key takeaway is not exactly what you're saying, but who you're talking to, right? So if we look at the funnel, and I've broken this down earlier in terms of the different awareness stages of prospects, the top of funnel segment, unaware, problem aware people, have a huge market size, right? So therefore also a huge potential to scale. Now, it's obviously super incredibly difficult to sell to this audience because they're so unaware. They don't even know that they have a problem, or they just know that they have a problem, but don't know how to solve this problem, right? So obviously we want to scale with cold traffic, but the less aware the prospects, the harder to sell to them. So we really have to figure out how can we talk to these people, right? Who are these people exactly, and how can we talk to them? Now, this is in itself often a huge challenge for most founders and their team, as they are victims of the curse of knowledge. And the curse of knowledge, or the curse of expertise, is basically a term where you have a cognitive bias where you incorrectly assume that everyone knows as much as we do on a given topic. And this just means that you as the brand owner, you know your brand in and out, you know all of the products in and out, and then you think, okay, well, and that's the bias. I know all of this stuff. Then if I run an ad, they will also know all of this stuff. But no, they don't. If you run ads, they are not going to know all of the same stuff that you know about the brand. And this makes it incredibly difficult for them to judge great copy for cold audiences, let alone write it themselves. So the long story short is you need to do better research with more advanced methods, and you need to assess market sophistication and awareness level. So how do you write good copy for VSL specifically? There's 2 things. First, and this is a tool that a good friend of mine, Toby Allen, gave me. Shout out if you see this video. A 2-year-old should be able to understand it without any problems, right? So you want to focus on a readability level below the 7th grade, right? So if your copy seems too stupid and simple to work, it's just about right for comprehension for most people. So just use this app. You can put in your VSL and all of this, and then it's going to tell you what reading grade this is, right? And one interesting fact, for example, Donald Trump, in most of his political speeches, he has a readability level of, I think, like a 4th grader on average, right? So you really want to be a maximum of grade 7. You want to make it super easy to understand. And the second thing is, this is how your video sales letter should be structured. And this is the exact style that we structured the whole video sales letter for KinoBuddy that I'm going to break down later on in this video. So you want to focus on educating rather than selling directly. So if you look at the VSL high level, this is what it looks like. We start with the hook, then you expand on the promise. Then we first of all build authority. We then tell a personal story with an epiphany. We then educate more around the problem and the solution. We then, at the end, show them the product. We then educate them around the solution, and then we have the call to action. So prospects don't even hear about the product until 2/3 of the VSL, right? So in the first 50% of the VSL, they don't even hear anything about the product. So the long story short of the VSL is you want to really focus on desired situation, current situation, transformation, meaning educate before you sell. You want to tell stories rather than just listing facts, and you want to give them options with your product being the best and most viable one. So around here in the VSL, which you're going to find later on, we are throwing shades at all the other solutions. So we literally will tell prospects, listen, you have 5 options right now, and then we will educate them on each of these options and say, well, after all of this education, you're going to probably see yourself that option 1, 2, 3, 4 are shit. And the only option is this one. And then obviously we have the product that we sell to them. So the biggest mistake with this is trying to sell to people too soon and thereby missing out on making them aware of the problem, making them feel understood, educating them on what's out there in the market and why it doesn't work for a lot of people, or introducing a seemingly new solution with a magic mechanism, with a unique mechanism that perfectly fits them. Right? And this is also similar to your hybrid product pages. I've talked about this in another video where we sometimes like to build product pages where we don't show the product and the price point at the top. But first of all, the first 50% of the product page are essentially, and I will just open this up and show you, the first 50% of the product page are basically just, education, desired situation, pain, trust, and all of this stuff, right? So what you can see here, first 50% of the product page, we educate user, then we pitch the product and give them the price point, and then we have some more around the specific product. So now, thirdly, you want to use these psychological principles to educate your prospects. First of all, we want to have a unique mechanism. Unique mechanism, I'll probably produce a video about this soon. It's essentially the idea of we explain what we do and the features of the products in a new way that the customer never heard before. So it seems like something completely unique and completely new to them. Then we talk about desired situation, painful problems, and current situation, social comparison, extrapolation and superlatives, objections and false belief, and then authority and proof. So these are the different psychological principles, and it will all click in just a second when we break it down with the VSL script, right? But these are from the psychological perspective, the principles that we use to educate the prospects. So let's talk about production, and then I will just jump in the case study and show you the whole VSL. In order to produce a video sales letter, you need to choose your brand faces, right? This can be UGC and influencers, this can be generative AI, or this could be internal people from your team, right? So for example, in this case, influencer-driven brand, we used Greg for the VSL. After you did recording, it needs to be edited, right? Because generally, you can split the key components of a VSL in 3 parts. It's first of all the principles, meaning all of the psychology. Secondly, the words, so what is being said, and then the presentation, how do we present it to the prospects with editing. So we already broke down the psychology, and we're going to look at the exact copy after this. Now let's talk about editing. How do we present it to them? And most of the times, these are the different editing effects, right? So in most cases, the VSL is like a straight to the camera of a person talking to the camera. So this is a talking head A-roll. Now, the next thing is that you write the text on effects, right? So you've seen this on a bunch of YouTube videos before, but just like writing the captions on the screen. Smooth zoom, like zooming into the face, for example, and then transition effects. Matching B-roll. So for example, we will say something like, and some guys don't get any attraction from girls. And then it will be a guy who's looking at a girl and the girl just walking past him, right? So we have matching B-roll, we have matching sound effects, and we have matching music. And these are all subtle but really, really strong ways that support the whole presentation of the video sales letter, and also have a huge impact on hook rate and view rate, like how much time they spend with the VSL. And obviously, the more they consume the VSL, the higher the probability of them buying, right? So this is super important. Now, mindset, marketing is founder's responsibility. editing is the editor's responsibility. You shouldn't think that you can just write shit copy, give it to your editor, and he would then make a Hollywood VSL that's going to perform. And you can find thousands of retention editors, but only very, very few people are able to understand your ICP and articulate their pains like you. Now, you want to analyze the VSLs in different layers, right? What are they saying? Why are they saying it? And how are they supporting the message with the presentation? And I would just exactly analyze a couple of VSLs from different competitors that you can find online, just to get a good understanding and educate yourself more around usage of VSLs. So now we've went through a lot of theory, but I want to focus on real life example now. That's really perfect execution of all of this. And this is the exact VSL SOP that we've used to drive over $50 million for our clients and our brands. And this is just one of the many examples, but I figured I'm gonna just walk you through one of them, right? So VSL breakdown. Now again, we have the different copywriting principles. Now what you can see here on screen is exactly the complete script for this VSL, and you can see it was around 13 minutes long. Now what I'm going to do now is just play the VSL, right, and then like the different segments of the VSL, and then afterwards I'm going to explain the exact copy behind this to you. Now let's start with the hook.
The unfair advantage that allows some guys to almost magically attract women, effortlessly slide from one girl to the next, and get chased, loved, and adored by 10 out of 10 women, while you may struggle to get a text back, quality matches on Tinder, let alone serious dates or a girlfriend. Let's cut the shit.
So we've just watched the hook, right? And here we've used a different color grading to make it easy for you to understand like what to do when. But we start with the unique mechanism, which is essentially this whole unfair advantage that allows some guys to almost magically attract women and effortlessly. And then we move into the desired situation, effortlessly slide from one girl to the next, get chased, laughed, and adored by 10 out of 10 women. And then we switch it to the viewer saying, while you, and then we talk about the pain and current situation, while you may struggle to get a text back, quality matches on Tinder, let alone serious dates or girlfriend. And you can see here, for example, with the B-roll, that we show him with a couple of girls, right? So this is a great example of B-roll. And this is also a really great example of some more B-roll, right, where the audience is laying in the bed on Tinder and not getting any any matches or any text back. Now let's look at the...
You've seen it before. The guys who just seem to almost magically attract women, who are effortlessly sliding from one girl to the next, who are getting chased, loved, and adored by 10 out of 10s, while most guys fail hard. For these guys, it seems as though opportunities are just falling on their lap with little to no effort, and they may not even be that much smarter, taller, or better looking than you. And it can almost be confusing because some of the guys you think that wouldn't be good with women are getting insane results. So what is going on? It's as if they had this unfair advantage that makes women almost fall for them, even if their friends are like, hey, don't go out with him, he's a player. They still do it. And for you, it almost feels like you're just destined to have a lackluster dating life. And if this wasn't frustrating enough, people tell you that, learn to be alone, be happy by yourself, or just accept it, bro, your soulmate will find you one day. And these words are nothing more than some self-help bullshit that doesn't help you at all. And you're right, okay? But here's the thing. The difference between you and the guys that just crush it, okay? It's not what you think. It's actually the unfair advantage they possess that I'm about to reveal to you. And again, it's not game, it's not looks, it's not height, it's not having millions of dollars or any wild pickup artist techniques. It's actually something way more profound and important.
So you've just seen the video, right? And with the script again, first of all, we say, let's cut the shit. You've seen it before, and then we always talk about the social comparison. So if you think about this visually, right? Like this is the viewer that's watching the film, and then the VSL, and then we're always talking about these guys, the other guys that have the unfair advantage, and then the viewer basically always sees these guys. So you've seen it before, the guys, and then we talk about desired situation and compare it to current situation with the pain points. The guys who just seem to almost magically attract girls, who are effortlessly sliding from one relationship to the next, and who are getting chased, loved, and adored by 10s, while most guys fail hard. For those guys, it just seems as though opportunities are on their lap with little to no effort, and they may not even be that much smarter, taller, or better looking than you, right? So what do we do here? We again talk about the unique mechanism, and then we start triggering their objections and false beliefs, right? And one of the objections and false beliefs that we found in the Reddit research is they always write, it's because I look bad, it's because I don't have money, it's because they're smart or whatever. So we start triggering their objections and false belief and say, no, it's nothing about that, it's something else. What we do then is, again, superlative, so we extrapolate a bit, and it can almost be confusing because some of the guys you think that wouldn't be good with women are getting insane results. So what is going on? It's as, and here again, unique mechanism, it's as if they had this unfair advantage that makes women almost fall on them. Even if their friends are like, hey, don't go out with him, he's a player, they still do it. And for you, we go back to viewer, it almost seems like you're just destined to have a lackluster dating life. And if this wasn't frustrating enough, people tell you that, learn to be alone or just accept it, bro. Your soulmate will find you someday. And these words are nothing more than some self-help bullshit that doesn't help you at all. And you're right. But here's the thing. The difference between you and the guys that just crush it, it's not what you think. It's actually the unfair advantage that they possess that I'm about to reveal with you. And again, it's not game, it's not looks, it's not hate, it's not having millions of dollars or any worldwide pickup artist techniques. It's actually something way more profound and important. So what you're seeing in the script is that we always alternate and jump in between these different copywriting principles of talking about the unique mechanism, talking about their desired situation, what they want to have, talking about their current situation with all of the pain points they have, comparing them to people they want to be like, extrapolate certain aspects of this and make them bigger, talk about the objections and false beliefs that they have where we have to solve them and educate them, and then also giving them authority and proof. So you can see that's why also this text is so colorful, because we always switch between that. Now let's look at the next section.
The secret, let me introduce myself, okay? My name is Greg Gallagher. Now, you may have seen me on my YouTube channel, Kino Body, or on podcasts like More Plates, More Dates, or talking with Jordan Belfort, or the Fresh and Fit guys, revealing how I cracked the code to the male life. Now, in this video, I wanna finally reveal the unfair advantage that, after all, explains your questions, okay? Questions like, why has it become so difficult for most men to get dates and quality girlfriends, while other guys seem to have more options than they know what to do with? Why do lots of guys that are called handsome and attractive still struggle with women and to get women interested in them? And why is the dating life so unfair for men? It feels like the cards are stacked against you, that a small minority of men get all the results and most guys are left in the dust. So I'm gonna finally pull back the curtains on it. The cold and harsh reality of why beautiful women won't date 95% of guys watching this video right now. Even if you feel like you're doing everything right, why women are biologically programmed by Mother Nature to be attracted to this unfair advantage. Meaning, if you have it, it makes you almost irresistible. The dark truth about the difference between you and the guys that seem to have it all, and why you will lose to them in competition unless you fix it. Now, I know you feel like you just have bad luck or you're just not that guy, but that is not true. There is a solution. Now, in this video, I'm gonna reveal how almost everyone can get a hold of this unfair advantage. So make sure to watch this video to the very end, because we're gonna get into some really, really cool stuff.
So what we've done in the beginning is we've introduced the unique mechanism, we've expanded on the promise, and now we want to build authority and proof for Greg, basically the person who is talking through this whole VSL. So before I reveal the secret, let me introduce myself. My name is Greg. Now you may have seen me on YouTube channel, my own YouTube channel, on podcast, or talking with Jordan Belfort or other guys, revealing how I cracked the code to male life. Now in this video, I want to finally reveal the unfair advantage that after all explains your questions. Questions like, why has it become so difficult for most men to get dates and quality girlfriends, while other guys seem to have more options than they know what to do with? So what you can see here in the script is that we oftentimes use the exact same pain points written in different variations, right? Why do lots of guys that are called handsome and attractive still struggle with women and to get women interested in them? And why is the dating life so unfair for men? It feels like the cards are stacked against you. And that a small minority of men get all the results and most guys are left in the dust. So I'm going to finally pull back the curtains on it. The cold and harsh reality of why beautiful women won't date 95% of guys watching this whole video right now. Even if you feel like you're doing it right, why women are biologically programmed by Mother Nature to be attracted to this unfair advantage, meaning if you have it, it makes you almost irresistible. The dark truth about the difference between you and the guys that seem to have it all, and why you will lose them in competition unless you fix it. Now, I know you feel like you just have had bad luck or you're just not that guy, but that is not true. there's a solution. Now in this video, I'm going to reveal how almost everyone can get a hold of this unfair advantage. So make sure you watch this video to the very end because we're going to get into some really cool stuff. Now with this, we first of all build authority and proof around Greg, who's going to talk about this. And then we really expand on the promise and hook them and tell them, hey, again, talking about the unique mechanism, talking about it's not what you think it is, it's something way different. And if you watch this video, then you're going to learn all of this and then one day be able to get girls. Now, the next thing, let's watch this together, but the next
really cool stuff. Now, before I reveal the secret, I need to tell you the story of how I discovered this unfair advantage. So I was at dinner last winter in Miami at Poppy Steak with some buddies, and we started talking about women, and it was very interesting. One of the guys at the table was tall, good looking, had tons of money, and he was struggling with women. He was telling us about how he's getting ghosted here. This girl wouldn't text him back. He was hanging out with this girl, but this girl friend zoned him. And I was like, what is going on? I couldn't understand why this guy just wasn't getting any results with women. And I started talking to him a lot more, and he was having bad sleep. He was super stressed at work. And I said, listen, go get your blood work checked. In fact, a few months ago, I did my blood work with more plates, more dates, and I found out my free testosterone was at the very top of the reference range. So a few weeks go by, he hits me up, he gets his blood work done, and his free T was extremely low. It was under 10 nanograms per deciliter. And no wonder he wasn't getting results with women. His free T was insanely low. And so I had this hypothesis. The most beautiful women are very feminine, and man and woman are attracted to the polarity. The more masculine you are, the more you can attract a beautiful feminine woman. When your testosterone levels are really low, you get put in the friend zone. Women do not see you as the man they want to be with. They don't get excited by you. They see you as a friend. So I actually found this really, really fascinating, and I started to do some more research at home. So Adam was tall, good looking, had money, but he had no mojo. His testosterone levels were low, and that's why he was getting friend zoned. He could have the right thing to say, the cool pad, be in the right place, the right time, but women never got lit up. Study after study shows evidence in humans and even in animals, if your testosterone levels are very, very low, your chance of mating diminishes incredibly. For example, in an Australian study, they found that testosterone levels are correlated with mating success, but not with attractiveness. So you don't even have to be a male model to get incredible results. You just have to have your testosterone levels dialed. And this explains why some guys have no trouble getting girls even if they're not the best looking. And there were even studies that showed that having high testosterone levels is almost like a natural perfume that's biologically designed to attract women. It's engraved in their DNA to choose the men with higher T levels. And then the kicker came. This secret advantage also helps you build muscle, lose fat, be more ambitious, sleep better, have better skin, and more energy. It sets you up for massive success in life. So the guys with the high testosterone had this genetic lottery ticket that gave them an unfair advantage in the dating market and literally everywhere else. So as if a light bulb went off in my head, because this would mean that having high T levels is the difference between guys that seem to magically attract women and those that get almost unnoticed. So crazy enough, after this whole experiment, I had a few of my buddies go and get their T levels checked. And without fail, the guys that were really good with women had very high testosterone, and the guys that went basically unnoticed were very low.
Now let's look at the copy together. Now, before I reveal the secret, I need to tell you the story of how I discovered this unfair advantage. I was at Poppy Steak with some buddies and we started talking about women, and it was very interesting. One of the guys at the table was tall, good looking, had tons of money, and he was struggling with women. He was telling us about how he was getting ghosted there, this girl wouldn't text him back, he was hanging out with this girl, but she friend zoned him, and I was like, what is going on? Right, I think with most of the script now, I've explained the psychological principles a couple of times to you guys, and this is just going through the whole script again. So I will just show you like each part of the VSL and then go high level through the script, not reading it word for word to you, because either way I'm going to put this document underneath in the comment section for you to just go through. So I will just now highlight the most important aspects of the videos. And also a bit more of the psychological principles, right? Because essentially what we do with the storytelling and the epiphany, and you can see it's quite a long section of the VSL, like around 2 to 3 minutes, is we want to basically build a personal story, show a personal story, build personal rapport, and then also kind of guide the prospect to how Greg, or essentially how the person who's doing the VSL, found the solution, right? So that's why we open up the story at him being at Poppy Steak with some buddies, and then again doing some objection handling and talking about current pain points and really building this relatability to the audience. and then kind of talking about this whole thing about testosterone and why testosterone is so important, right? And then we really educate them around, hey, the main problem is that his testosterone levels were low, and that's why he was getting friend-zoned, right? Then we start citing a couple of studies, like Australian studies, some more studies, right? Where we talk about you don't need to look good, you just have to have a solid testosterone level. And then later we talk about the testosterone is basically like a genetic lottery ticket, and it gives you an unfair advantage in the dating market, right? Because this gets you attractive to women. So this is essentially the whole thing that we talk about here. Now, the first 3 minutes were just about introducing Greg, talking about the unique mechanism, hook proof, and all of this stuff. And now we start talking about why testosterone is important. Now let's look at the next section together.
But why was this happening? Was this just Mother Nature's curse? The bad news is that men's testosterone levels have dropped almost 50% in the last 4 decades, which means that almost everyone has a testosterone deficiency these days. But not only that, but sperm quality is down 50%, and there's more male virgins than ever before. So this is for a variety of reasons, okay? People have become less active, they're more sedentary, they're eating worse food, but there's all these endocrine disruptors in our environment. The body wash we put on, in plastics, it's literally everywhere. In scented products, we're exposed to so many estrogens, then radiation, phone in the pocket, laptop. There's so many things that are disrupting your body's own ability to produce testosterone. And of course, the increase in stress and mental health problems and poor sleep has also played a massive role in poor testosterone production. It's not your fault. The modern world around you is literally designed to destroy your testosterone levels. So this also explains why it's so tough out there for most men. I mean, women are obviously attracted to high T men, and we live in a world designed to keep male testosterone low. It doesn't take a genius to realize that. But how do you know if your T levels are low for sure? Low T is linked to anxiety and depression. If your mental health is off, you're feeling anxious, if you're not sleeping well, if your sex drive is lower, you have lower energy, if you don't have that ambition and drive to hit the gym. High T makes work feel good. You want to lift, you want to train, you want to work hard. And so most men kind of feel a bit apathetic. And if you have a hard time really packing on muscle, your T levels are probably very low. Also, maybe you feel like you're stressed easily and you feel more emotional. Now, obviously there are a lot more symptoms, but these are some of the main ones. So if you find yourself with some of these symptoms, it probably means you may have a testosterone deficiency. But it's not all bad news. I also have some good news. This also means that the few men who still have high T these days can just clean up. These are the 5% of men that get the craziest results, the ones who are just genetically gifted. They live life on cheat mode, favored by Mother Nature itself.
Now what we talk about here basically is really dive into the education. Now we really want to have the prospect understand why testosterone is so important, why nowadays most people don't have high testosterone, and also what you can do to fix this, right? So we talk about the problem, we educate them around the problem, we talk about the follow-up problems of the problem, right? Example given, if you don't fix your low testosterone, then you have anxiety, depression, your mental health is off, low energy, low sex drive, low ambition, all of this stuff, right? And then at the end of this section, we then basically talk about, okay, now we've educated you around the problem, why you experience all of the pain points, why you should really do something to solve this. And then we start introducing the product, right? It's not all bad news. I also have some good news. This means that you can do something about this, right? Now let's look at the next section of the VSL together.
But why was this happening? Was this just Mother Nature's curse? The bad news is that men's testosterone levels have dropped almost 50% in the last 4 decades, which means that almost everyone has a testosterone deficiency these days. But not only that, but sperm quality is down 50%, and there's more male virgins than ever before. So this is for a variety of reasons, okay? People have become less active, they're more sedentary, they're eating worse food, but there's all these endocrine disruptors in our environment. The body wash we put on, in plastics, it's literally everywhere. In scented products, we're exposed to so many estrogens, then radiation, phone in the pocket, laptop. There's so many things that are disrupting your body's own ability to produce testosterone. And of course, the increase in stress and mental health problems and poor sleep has also played a massive role in poor testosterone production. It's not your fault. The modern world around you is literally designed to destroy your testosterone levels. So this also explains why it's so tough out there for most men. I mean, women are obviously attracted to high T men, and we live in a world designed to keep male testosterone low. It doesn't take a genius to realize that. But how do you know if your T levels are low for sure? Low T is linked to anxiety and depression. If your mental health is off, you're feeling anxious, if you're not sleeping well, if your sex drive is lower, you have lower energy, if you don't have that ambition and drive to hit the gym. High T makes work feel good. You want to lift, you want to train, you want to work hard. And so most men kind of feel a bit apathetic. And if you have a hard time really packing on muscle, your T levels are probably very low. Also, maybe you feel like you're stressed easily and you feel more emotional.
Now let's look at the copy together for the product. So if you want to know how that is good for you, let me tell you a little secret. You can actually increase your testosterone levels naturally, right? So here we then basically talk about different cases, different stories of different people. And as you've seen, we shown them the before and afters on the screen. And we basically build a lot of proof. Now, after we've built all of this proof, walk through the different cases, we talk about the solution, how to actually do this. Now let's look at the video together here.
Now, if you want to have the unfair advantage, there are 3 simple science-backed pillars you need to master. So there's specific training and nutrition protocols that can ramp up your testosterone production. Secondly, the right key supplements can make a massive difference, okay? I've seen guys increase their testosterone 200 plus points with the right key supplements. And finally, for the absolute best results, you need to cut out these certain endocrine disruptors which stop your body's ability to produce testosterone. Now, if you master these 3, you'll remove the brakes on your testosterone production and you'll start to feel incredible and effortlessly attract women all around. I want to help as many men as possible break free from the chains and get their testosterone levels to an amazing place where they can finally attract the woman they desire. That's why I created a challenge. A complete 360-degree challenge designed to give you a fast and easy science-based roadmap to master all of these 3 pillars and skyrocket your testosterone levels in as little as 30 days. We launched this challenge a while ago and the results have been insane. So inside Mojo Mastery, you get the exact training program to sculpt the fuck me now physique and raise testosterone levels in just 3 workouts per week. Now, this is responsible for thousands of mind-boggling transformations. As well, you're getting the easy-to-follow nutrition protocol designed to optimize and support your body's testosterone levels and allow you to cut off fat and gain muscle with ease. Third, you're gonna get the endocrine disruptor blueprint, and I'll show you exactly how to cut out these harmful chemicals from your environment and your body so your body feels way better and you can produce way more testosterone. And you get the supplement stack, which is the Kino Mojo. The Kino Mojo is systematically designed to increase testosterone production. It helps to methylate estrogen levels and it helps to free up more bound up testosterone. And that free testosterone is really what gives you the most power. That's what can exert its function on your cells, help with muscle growth, sex drive, ambition. So increasing the free testosterone is really the most important. And you get the nitro. So the Mojo is for testosterone, the nitro improves blood flow. So you get amazing pumps in the gym, more energy, clearer skin, and you have a freaking battering ram in the bedroom. The blood flow is crazy. So these 2 combined, it is a secret advantage. And the best part is we normally sell this package for $297, but for a limited time, I'll give you the whole thing, the training nutrition, the endocrine blueprint, and the supplements for just $97. This means all you have to do is pay for the supplements and get the whole program for free. And on top of that, we are so confident in this challenge that we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. This means if you don't like the results from the challenge in any shape or form, you will get your money back. But that will not happen because the results we're getting on this is insane. Once you go on the Mojo Mastery Protocol, you're never gonna wanna go off. You're gonna be loving the unfair advantage. So this leaves you.
Now let's break down the copy together. So essentially what do we do here in this part? And that's also why I wrote the note. The first mention of the product appears at minute 10 of 30 minutes, right? So really the first 10 minutes, we didn't even mention the product. So we talk about basically the different protocols, we talk about the different pillars, and then we talk about the product, right? That's why I created a challenge, a complete challenge designed to give you a fast and easy science-based roadmap to master all of these 3 pillars and skyrocket testosterone levels in as little as 30 days. So this is where we first mention the product, and then obviously we break down the whole offer essentially here in the VSL, and then at the end we pitch them with the call to action, which we're going to look at now.
This leaves you with 2 options. So option 1, you sit on the sidelines. Tomorrow turns into next week, which turns into next month, next year, and years from now, you're still in the same place you're in now, but usually worse. It usually gets worse if you don't make any changes. Option 2, you make a life-changing decision. You take a bet on yourself, you go all in on the Mojo Mastery Challenge. You get your mojo, you get your physique, and you get the girl. Worst thing that can happen is that you get your money back from our 30-day money-back guarantee. So you literally have nothing to lose. You only have upside. So click the link, sign up to the Mojo Mastery Challenge, and be ready to be part of the 5% that have the unfair advantage.
Now, this is essentially the call to action, which is just, hey, you can either stay who you are, low testosterone, no girls, no dates, or you can go take this challenge with us. It's going to be life-changing decision, and I will give you even a great offer. Now let's do this together, right? This is the call to action at the end. So this essentially is the whole VSL, again, 13 minutes. We do have different variations of this depending on the product we sell and to what audience we sell it to. Again, this is 13 minutes. We've also written VSLs that are 30, 45, or even 60 minutes, right? So it always depends on like the type of product, the awareness and sophistication level of the audience, and all of this. But for example, also VSL that's 13 minutes can crush. Now this has been the whole VSL basically. So this is the long story short of how to really build VSLs that crush. You want to research, you want to do great copy, and then great production. So these are the 3 pillars of great VSLs. With the copy, you want to have a good understanding of the product prospect, meaning specifically market sophistication and awareness. You want to have a low grade reading level, so extremely simple language, and you want to use all of the psychological copywriting elements that we've spoken about in this video. With the VSL, you want to educate before you sell, right? As you can see here, we only pitch them the solution at the end of the VSL, and you want to give them different options with different solutions that they can potentially take, but obviously your offer is the best and most viable one. Now at this step, you understand how direct response works. You've seen full funnels from pre-sale pages to sales pages. You've also seen how to use VSLs. And now the next thing that we want to share in this course is how to utilize advertorials, right? I'm going to give you 3 different templates of advertorials, and I'm also going to break down the whole copywriting process to really build advertorials that scale. In this video, we're going to talk about how to make money with advertorials. First of all, I'm going to explain the whole business case and definition. And then afterwards, I'm going to walk you through 2 advertorials step by step, explain the whole thinking process behind it so you can build them yourself. So let's get right into this. So basically, what are advertorials? Advertorials are a certain type of landing page that you push the traffic to after they click on the ad, that are mostly used as a pre-sale page before the actual sales page to educate and frame the prospect. So mostly the business use case of advertorials are increase the overall paid funnel performance of the existing funnels, and secondly, open up a wider total addressable market segment and enable to scale on colder and less aware audiences. So to give you a good example, this is how PetLab Co. established advertorials as a driver for paid customer acquisition and growth. Basically, if you look through their Facebook ads library, you're going to find a bunch of videos and ad creatives that all push traffic to advertorials. And I'm just going to open up the live page. As you can see here, this is basically what an advertorial looks like high level. Right? You can see that it looks like an article and it's written very, very education, and you can see that only after 50-60% scroll, they introduce a call to action or even talk about the product, right? So this is basically an advertorial. It looks like an article for the day-to-day consumer and prospect, and it's really educational style written. I'm going to show you some more examples for ad creatives, right? Typically, they have a strong curiosity-driven hook or headline, and sometimes they also have a YouTube-style thumbnail look, right? So, for example, if you look at this also pushes to an advertorial, and you can see if you look at the ad creative, I'm going to zoom into this bit. If you look at the ad creative, it's basically a really curiosity-driven hook. Same with these 3, right? Where you can see that it's basically, it's not talking about a product or anything. It's really more, hey, are you tired of the menopause brain? Or hey, do you have this pain point right now? Or hey, these boost your neural lobes, right? So you're like, what the fuck is this? How can I use this, right? And then, or this, right? So this is from a German company where they talk about gut health, where they talk about digestive issues, and it's basically saying, hey, this is how you can get rid of digestive issues with an easy routine, right? or these are easy day-to-day products that you have at home with which you can solve your gut issues. Or another one, which is more of a social proof ad saying, hey, nothing helped me relieve my pain point until I tried this. And all of these push to advertorials. So now that we've spoken about different ad creatives, again, I've linked all of the ad libraries so you can check them out yourself. Let's dive right into the advertorial blueprints. So as you can see here, I've brought you two funnels. The first one is from PHC Beauty and the second one from Primal Harvest. Both clients of ours, and they both make millions with advertorials. So the first one is a beauty brand, PHC Beauty, right? So if you check out the website, this is PHC Beauty. You can see a lot of great products in the skincare and beauty niche. And basically for them, they've just been crushing it with advertorial funnels. So let's get straight into this. So one of their products helps solve facial redness, right? So for that, we wrote this advertorial, as you can see here. So in the first above the fold, you can see that we basically show the desired transformation in the before and after picture. And then we also have a hook saying, facial redness is no longer an obstacle for me. So basically, this is really great in the above the fold where you directly talk about the desired situation or showcase it in an image. And then also you want to do it with the headline. And then what you're going to find throughout this whole advertorial is that it's basically a point of view story, right? So it's basically a point of view story from the customer who's trying this product. So as you're going to see with this one, it's basically a whole point of view story, right? So we open up everything with the storytelling, where we have the writer say, hey, it was one of those days when everything seemed to be going perfectly. I had come to my office ready to take on the world, but then it happened. When I looked in the mirror, I noticed that my cheeks were suddenly covered in an intense blush. I was shocked. I had never had such problems with facial redness before. And then we basically talk about, we open up the current situation and the pain points, right, that the reader has to make it relatable. So at that moment, I just wanted to sink into the ground. My self-confidence dwindled and I hardly dared to leave the office. Upon closer inspection, I noticed the many small red veins that were visible on my skin. It was an unexpected slap in the face, literally and figuratively. I rummaged through my makeup bag looking for a miracle cure to hide the uncomfortable redness. When I got home later, I felt the emotional toll of that day. Had anyone in my office noticed the redness? Did they perceive me differently? Right, so basically the opening paragraph is this point of view story from the writer that we introduce here, where she has a big problem in the office and we write it as a really relatable story. So that's the first paragraph. Then the second paragraph, right, we basically talk about the motivation from the writer who experienced the story to take action. So we say, this event marked a turning point in my life. I decided to deal with the issue of facial redness in depth and find a solution. I no longer wanted to be plagued by this problem. As a health editor, I began my research, came across a large number of reports from people who also suffered from facial redness. They were burdened with a feeling of shame and insecurity, especially in the cheek and nose area. Suddenly, I realized that I was not alone. These experiences show me that facial redness is experienced differently by each individual, but they had all had one common wish: to reduce the redness and regain their quality of life. So here we talk about the desired situation and the common goal, again to make it relatable with the reader. If you watch my videos, you see me talk a lot about current situation, desired situation, right? And this is why we play with both. Here we talk about the current situation, here we talk about the desired situation. Go on. I realized that there's a deep connection between skin and psyche. Our external appearance can have a significant impact on our well-being. But what could be the cause of this facial redness? Is there a deeper reason that explains the seemingly superficial problem? And then, right, so here we talk about the opening, we talk about the writer experiencing a really bad moment, pain, current situation. Then we talk about she decides to take action about this, talk about the desired situation. And then the third paragraph, right, we then basically explain the problem, right? So again, this whole advertorial is really, really educational. So we start to explain it. I realized that facial redness is not a one-size-fits-all issue. There are a variety of triggers ranging from temperature changes to stress. UV rays from the sun can also affect the skin and cause persistent redness. Then we start a mental fire raising, right? So fragrances and skincare products also have a negative effect on skin prone to inflammation. So we directly We subtly tell them, hey, if you don't watch out what skincare products you buy, this can have a really negative effect on your skin. Then we talk about fragrances can be irritating and put additional strain on sensitive skin. For skin that is prone to inflammation, this can lead to further irritation, redness, and even breakouts. To minimize the negative effects of fragrances and inflamed skin, choose fragrance-free skincare products. Look for products that are explicitly labeled fragrance-free or fragrance-free. Yeah, here's a quick translation issue because this was written in Germany. So we talk about quality features, then we talk about the presence of skin diseases such as cupuros and rosacea can also lead to facial redness. This redness occurs due to a genetically determined dilation of the blood vessels in the face and does not fade on its own. Dermatologists therefore differentiate between temporary and permanent forms of facial redness. It is amazing how facial redness that persists over a long period of time can become a debilitating challenge that significantly reduces the quality of life, particularly as we age and the skin loses thickness, the visible veins become more and more present. But how many people actually suffer from this problem? I wonder if there are people in my daily environment who are affected by it. Perhaps we simply do not consciously notice it, as those affected cleverly hide the fact that they are struggling with facial redness, an invisible burden that many of us could carry. So again, in this third paragraph, we now educate the reader on what is causing the problems for him, right? Like, why does he have these pains? Why does he have these problems? We already talk about what they have to watch out for. And then again, we tie it to a big problem and pain point. And then to make it even worse for the reader and increase the pain, in the fourth paragraph, we talk about the consequences of facial redness. So here you can see facial flushing can be more than just a temporary cosmetic problem. A recent study has shown that it can also have serious mental health implications. So we not only talk about the problem, but we talk about the underlying, deeper, bigger problem, right? Problem number one, facial redness. Problem number two, that's way bigger and way deeper, mental health implications. The results are alarming. People who regularly suffer from facial flushing report increased stress, anxiety, and lower self-esteem. I am convinced that it is irrelevant whether the redness of the skin is purely aesthetic or persistent. This is where the connection between the psychological state and the appearance of the skin comes into play, which I already mentioned at the beginning. If the skin does not look right, the psychological state suffers. Self-esteem decreases. However, if you feel psychologically attacked, this can have a negative effect on the skin, a long-lasting vicious circle. There must therefore be products to take break of this vicious circle. While searching for a solution to my problem, I came across a post in a Facebook group where an affected person shared their experiences. So here you can see we talk about the problem of a problem. Again, we talk about this whole discovery process, right? Because with advertorials, you always want to make it like some form of discovery that the writer has, and they want to share this with the reader. Again, keeping it educational. So when I noticed a few months ago that my face was increasingly plagued by unpleasant redness, I was deeply concerned. At 46, I had hoped that I would have left my skin problems behind me long ago. But instead, I was faced with this new affliction that was seriously affecting my self-esteem. Every look in the mirror was a torture, and I felt insecure and unattractive. I went through numerous doctor visits and tried different skincare products, but nothing seemed to really help. The redness got worse, and I was desperate. It was a dark moment in my life where I wondered if I would ever find a solution to my problem. So here, we then talk about the aha moment. We start to introduce the solution. One day, I came across a story of a woman who had similar skin redness to mine. She described her ordeal and how she finally discovered a special cream that changed her life. In her distress, I decided to try it too. I'm honestly impressed that I can already see significant improvement after just 2 weeks. The instructions on the packaging say that the cream should be used continuously for 6 weeks, and I plan to stick to this exactly. It makes me feel somewhat relieved, and I have great hope that this particular cream can help me and hopefully other sufferers too. Of course, I couldn't help but become curious and wanted to find out the secret of this special cream and what makes it different from the other creams. So you can see we even still don't show the product, but we introduce the solution, we introduce this new unique mechanism that helps the reader, and then we also not directly say it because we want to build up tension. We want the reader to be like, what's the secret? Like, what's the special sauce, right? I want to have this. So then we show this exciting discovery. Here again, we have the before and after transformation, right? The desired situation. Then we say, After extensive research in various forums and studies, 3 crucial aspects emerged that both those affected and experts consider to be particularly relevant for the treatment of facial redness. It seems that this special cream fulfills all of these components. And here we start explaining the product, right? But we, again, and that's why I wrote this, we talk about product benefits, not about product features. So these 3 are the immediate effect. So the cream is designed to cover the red skin areas quickly and effectively so that those affected can quickly move about their everyday lives confidently and without shame. Long-term effect. So in addition to this immediate effect, that also has an effect in the longer term and reduces its intensity, and it's fragrance-free. Again, you remember in the second or third paragraph we talked about that the skincare product shouldn't have any fragrance, so the cream should be fragrance-free as they can irritate the skin and worsen inflammation. So after reading the experience report of those affected, I was determined to try this special cream too. I could literally feel the relief that they had described. Doing my research for the cream, I came across the website of a German manufacturer that is particularly known for its highly effective products. There I discovered this cream called Sensitive Skin Coat Plus Face Cream, which is available in selected shops and online. What immediately appealed to me were the numerous positive product reviews. Nevertheless, I decided to examine the cream and its ingredients more closely to convince myself of its quality. Before I tried it myself, I already got some information on the product website. The Sensitive Face Cream contains a unique formulation of ruby stem, which I never heard of before, but I will tell you more about it below, and purslane. The minerals in purslane ensure good blood circulation and oxygen supply to the skin. This increases metabolism and also the speed of cell regeneration. This helps you if you want to quickly relieve and reduce inflammation. And I read something else important on the site. The cream's formula has a calming effect and is completely fragrance-free. This makes the cream ideal for sensitive skin and skin prone to inflammation. So what you can see here in this paragraph, right, exciting discovery, we first talk about the basically the 3 quality aspects that the product should have, and then we say, let's look at the product, and then we say this product matches all of those 3 quality aspects. So you can see the advertorial is really educational. We take the reader at the hand and walk them through the whole process of having a problem, trying to find a solution, testing different solutions, finally finding one solution that works, testing this specific solution to make sure it's quality. And also what you're going to see is that the writer still is somewhat critic, right? So the writer doesn't just say, I found this product, it's amazing. The writer says, hey, I found this product, it seems good, but I still want to try it to make sure it actually works. And we do this to step by step not only build a really big pain and a really big tension in the reader, but also for the reader to trust the author and the writer, and to also step by step let down their mental guard, right? Because if we would do it too quickly, they would just be like, this doesn't feel right. Now we start introducing the actual product. So if you look at the bigger picture, we have the above the fold section, right? Then we have the second paragraph, third, fourth, fifth paragraph. So we have 5 sections, 5 paragraphs before we show the actual product. And here again, we introduce ruby stem, this active ingredient, and which is basically the unique mechanism. So you always want to make sure to have a unique mechanism so that you're not comparable to anything else that's on the market. So basically we say, I wanted to take a closer look at the active ingredient rubistem, which is the unique mechanism, which was unknown to me, and I found out that this information on the website and the link study. So it's a biotechnologically derived plant stem cell extract, what a word, from Centella asiatica, right? So the plant is known from traditional Indian medicine. The extract was specifically developed to target visibly reddened and damaged dilated capillaries. It helps to reduce the first signs of rosacea and restores a clear complexion. So rubistem has powerful antioxidant properties and helps to reduce inflammation and vasodilation. It protects the capillary environment and offers a novel approach based on the repair and stabilization activity of collagen and laminin on the capillaries. These results suggest that rubistem may have promising effects on the symptoms of rosacea, particularly redness and dilated blood vessels. I highly recommend you order the cream and experience your wrinkle-free face. Then take your old anti-aging cream and compare it to the Super Lift anti-aging cream. Experience how much more even and smooth your skin looks, right? And see if your confidence doesn't improve as a direct result. If you don't see a dramatic difference in your wrinkle reduction, one that is noticeable, that you notice it right away, then return the cream anytime within 30 days and I will give you a prompt refund, right? So here we have risk reversal. Due to the numerous positive reviews and information about the product, I was determined to finally try this myself. So here we say dramatic results. When I applied the cream for the first time, I immediately felt my skin calm down. The formula is incredibly gentle and therefore ideal for my skin. My skin is much calmer overall and the redness has reduced significantly. In addition, the cream provides my skin with sufficient moisture and promotes blood circulation, which contributes to a healthy and radiant appearance. But is my personal experience alone meaningful enough? Here again, right? Being critique. That's why I would like to share some testimonials from other users that I came across during my research on the internet. Customers rave about the immediate effect that lasts on all without any fragrances. Ideal for rosacea and redness. So here we then show different testimonials, and then we have the first call to action and the scarcity frame. So test availability now. Then below that we have an FAQ section, and then we have again a call to action with scarcity frame, right? And then just down below at the bottom of the page we have social proof, we have authority and trust elements, we talk about the shipping information, payment options, and this is basically the end of the advertorial. Then if you would click on this call to action, it would then take you to this sales page, right? Also a really long form sales page that is done really, really well, right? Don't want to tap myself on the shoulder too much, but obviously this is in terms of conversion optimization, everything we know, like all of the special stuff. So basically, let's look at this high level. We have social proof at the top. We have a value proposition. We have different bundles where they save a lot, right? We have really, really high-end product images with a breakdown, with benefits, value proposition. We have the delivery time. Again, we have more social proof. We have like a small listicle with all of the value proposition benefits. We have a quick video VSL with authority brand association. We have all of the breakdown, how to use it. We have ingredients. We have a trust badge. We have clinically proven effect. And then you can see, a great hook, a great headline that is basically used everywhere is that you get a certain result in a certain time frame. So that's what we have here. And then we just have some more sections about the product, about proven results, about the unique mechanism, right? How we derive it, where it's from, how to use the product, Q&A, bundling, all of that, call to action, social proof, testimonials, right? Again, I don't want to break this down step by step because this video is about advertorials, but if you want to really get a deep dive into how to build a sales page or product page, then check out the other video on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to link it down below. And then basically if you buy it, it's going to push you to the cart, right? And then you can buy. So this is advertorial / sales funnel number 1 for this product. What I also want to do is show you a different advertorial example, just so we can walk through 2 different ones, and you can also see one for supplements, right? So this advertorial, let's first look at it in its completion. Basically, this is the advertorial. You can see that it's a bit more structured, bit more visual elements, right? And that we also have the sales elements, and you can actually buy on this page, right? So what do we do, or what is this advertorial? Basically, at the beginning, right, we make it look like an article that questions how effective multivitamin supplements are, and also what is the best multivitamin for this year, right? And as you can see here, we open up with this organic looking content, right? Just so that it's written from Liz. She's a health contributor. It has been published just 2 weeks ago. And then we basically start with like a curiosity driven hook, right? So we start with the question, why does your body even need vitamins, right? And then we showcase all of these healthy products, and then we basically give a breakdown, right? Simply put, your body needs vitamins to function properly and stay healthy. Vitamins perform a wide range of tasks, such as keeping your bones, fortifying your immune system, and giving you sustained energy throughout the day. Then we also tell people, hey, these are some of the most common nutrient deficiencies that people have. And then we ask another question, right? We always have curiosity hooks in this one. Why supplement with a multivitamin, right? So research shows that nutrient deficiencies spread widely across the US population, despite the essential role in human health and well-being. So if you think there's a gap in your diet or you just want to put your mind at ease when it comes to staying healthy, a multivitamin can act as a nutritional insurance to keep your body in tip-top shape. Some common sign of nutritional deficiencies, right? And then we basically say, hey, let's make a comparison, right? Us versus them comparison, and also introduce the product and say, is the primal multivitamin really the best multivitamin? And then we compare it to like other products with the key ingredients. You can see that they are pretty similar, right? But then what we do is we have this one unique outlier, right? Which we are then also explaining is this unique mechanism and what every multivitamin should have. And then we also say price anchoring, right? So try to avoid if it's priced over 50 or under $20, right? And this really kills out all of the other ones. And and this us versus them comparison, you can really see that this is clearly the winner. Then also more important criteria, right? This is the only one with a 90-day money back guarantee and offers a subscription service, and it's third party tested. And then we start breaking down, right? All of the ingredients, again, qualifying features, the benefit listing, the ingredients to have in this multivitamin, and explain the function of all of those themselves, right? Then we also give a tip because, again, this whole advertorial is written from Liz for the reader. We want to keep it educational. We say, hey, take your multivitamin with breakfast every day. You will start the day off on a positive note, knowing that you've just made a healthy choice that will help you take it the day ahead. Then top 4 things to have in your multivitamin, right? Again, qualifying features, high quality ingredients, where we break down exactly what should be inside of it. We also showcase basically the supplement facts. We again say, hey, unlike some other brands, Primal Multivitamin has nothing to hide. We are big on full ingredient transparency so that you can see exactly what goes into our products. You can see every ingredient. It's designed to help you. And then we basically break down all of this stuff. And then we have the first call to action. Then secondly, we talk about comprehensive benefits. Again, we want to list the benefits and we really want to break down what's inside of here and also what it does, right? Supports energy levels, promotes mood, foundational health support, and it supports a healthy immune system. Its skin supports, and it has, again, the 21 key vitamins and minerals. So as you can see here in the beginning, we said, what do they need, right? And then we qualify ourselves on these features. Then we basically give them trust and safety. So we say, hey, safety and satisfactions, our products are made in the US, globally sourced ingredients, rigorous testing. We also have a risk reversal, so 90-day money back guarantee. We do some objection handling and framing, right? And say this is affordable for all. We show a bunch of happy customers, and then we say staying on top of your health should be simple, which is why we give you all of the nutrients you need, just in a single capsule, so that you can spend your day focusing on what matters to you. And then we talk about the subscription, because obviously you want to also have a great customer lifetime value and you want to push more people into this subscription. And then as you can see here, we make this bundle look way more sexy and attractive so that they can subscribe. And then also we give them different options to buy, and then we also give them the one-time purchase options, where basically here this is pretty typical what you want to do, right? Especially in supplements, you always want to have 3 offers. You want to put the best one in the middle, and then you want to have like 3 different price points, for example. So in this case, $30, $143, and $77. And then you also want to make the one in the middle visually the most appealing, stand out, which is what we did here with the gold instead of the green background. Then again, risk reversals, so 100% refund policy, social proof, videos and text reviews, which we have here at the bottom, which is pretty straightforward. Another call to action. Again, another section talking about the product, why it's great. And then that's basically the full page. So now you've seen 2 different versions. One is just the advertorial, then the sales page, then checkout. This is basically a bit of a 2-in-1 page, where we first have like a really educational aspect to it, and then down below we then also have a buying section. Now the last video that we have in this course is where we put all of these elements together. So we're going to break down a complete acquisition funnel from $100 million brand. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, high level, before we go into the specifics, there's different styles of funnels that we are going to check out now. The first one is what I like to call an advertorial point of view story funnel, right? Which is going to be this one. The second one is going to be an advertorial authority funnel, which is this one. The next one is going to be a buy one, get one free funnel. And then the last one is going to be a direct to product funnel. Now, the main thing that separates these funnels is that you can see in the first two funnels, high level, that they don't push ads directly to a product page. They do push most of the ads directly to a presale page, right? So this presale page, for example, or this presale page. And then in the other two funnels, they push traffic to a collection page or directly to the product page. Now, this is super, super interesting because most brands, they still run ads and funnels and everything like back in 2020, back in 2022, where you could just run some ad creatives with basic media buying to product page and it will work, right? But that's the old way of doing things, and that's why we want to focus on this new way of doing things. Now, let's break this down step by step. First things first, the advertorial story funnel. Now, the main idea of this is that you basically want to create a story, right? So from the ad to the advertorial throughout the whole funnel, you want to create the story of one specific person, right? Which is a point of view story. Now you can see that if we look at the ad creatives, it's certain personas talking about the experience with the product, right? So in this case, a testimonial from Maria, who's 58, or another testimonial from someone that's 75, from Rachel in this case, and this is the style of ad creative, right? Now, it already seems to be like a point of view style ad creative that you can see here. And then again, I've also linked the ad library here, so you can just check it out if you want. Again, some of them are obviously off, so you may have to double check all of the filters, but I did link all of the ad creatives, so sometimes you just have to check the older ad creatives too, if you want to check out the ads. Now, in terms of the preset page, you can see, I'm just going to scroll down high level to what this looks like. Again, I have a bunch of videos on my channel covering how to build advertorials, but just so you can see the preset page. As you can see, it's really copy heavy, and then only at the bottom you have a call to action. Now, the way that this advertorial is written is it's a point of view story, right? So from foot pain victim to pain free in 30 days, it wasn't what I expected. And then you can see I expected a solution, yada, 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 right? After 30 days, I went from planning my day around foot pain to completely forgetting I ever had it. It's written by Jessica Kim, who seems to be a lifestyle blogger, and then this seems to be her. And then she's going to talk about a certain pain point that she had, and then how she discovered the solution. Then she's going to break down the solution, right? So we use these styles of advertorials all of the same, just because a point of view story works really, really well. And also for the regular consumer who's just problem aware or not even aware they have a problem, this is really, really great because we basically use the preset page to build trust before selling them, right? And that's what the advertorial is for. Now, this is the funnel number one. Again, I'm not going to break it down into too much detail just because I have so many like hour-long videos breaking down advertorials, but essentially this is the way that it works. Again, a quick intro at the top of a certain pain point and proposed value proposition, then the point of view story that's opening up, then resonating with the reader, breaking down the problem, discovering the solution, explaining the solution, building trust for the solution, again, showcasing more proof for the solution, and then at the bottom, then giving the call to action, showcasing why all of the other products don't work, and then having the call to action, and then ending with a FAQ. Now, as soon as you click on the call to action, you then push to the product page, right? So this is a pretty straightforward product page. I mean, you know how to use product pages. I'm just going to show this to you high level too, because it's also a really, really great product page. But essentially, as you can see here at the top of the product page, the main thing that's interesting about this is that they directly try to sell you multiple pairs, right? So you basically get more pairs. You can go for one pair, but you can get more pairs for an even greater discount, right? So they are doing this on the product page, and then again, they're doing it on the cart drawer, right? So The main things that's interesting for me is that they utilizing a lot of urgency and scarcity, right? So for example, they have a countdown timer, 10 hours, 30 minutes, up to 45% off free shipping. You can see again, your order is reserved for 1 minute, 45 seconds, huge sale. In the cart row, we have the same early autumn sale, countdown timers and everything. And then again, we have the same stuff in the checkout, limited stock, reserved for 8 minutes and something, right? So that's super interesting, and that's essentially then the product page. So that's funnel number 1 that they're utilizing, and I really like how they're doing this, because again, these point of view advertorials just work extremely well. Now, the second funnel is super similar in the style, high level of the first funnel, but here it's not written from a point of view of like a consumer. It's written from an authority, right? So in this case, from Dr. Jennifer Martin. So here you can see like the style of ad creatives that they're using here. It's not a testimonial anymore, right? It's a pretty straightforward ad creative where they break down how it works. And then essentially here you can see that then here the tonality, the copy, everything is a bit different, just because here we utilize the authority of a doctor. I'm going to again scroll down first through the advertorial, and you can see that it seems a bit more polished, a bit more quality, and a bit more in terms of the copy, like from an expert tonality, right? So you can see how Americans over 55 are transforming their food health naturally, no costly orthotics, don't even know that word, no pain, just results. And as you can see, it's like it's written completely differently to this first point of view story, which is super easy to read, super easy to resonate with, super nice. And this one seems way more like an article which is written from this doctor, and also written way more professional. Here then you can see it also starts with the problem first, right? So educating them around the problem, what happens if they don't fix the problem, right? Introducing the solution, talking about why this solution is different and is going to help them. Then again, building trust for the solution, and always tying back to this doctor authority, right? So essentially the same style of advertorial, and then we have the call to action at the bottom, and then also the product page is super similar. It's just that if we compare these two again, this is again super similar, right? It's just that essentially now the title is at the top, the recommended is at the top, just so we have a bit more in terms of the frame, because here we have the doctor who's writing it, and then we have recommended by a doctor at the top directly. So this is pretty well made, and then you can see it's essentially the same idea, just with a different product of the page. And then obviously it also is congruent to all of the copy from the advertorial. And then you can see again, here they are pushed into buying multiple pairs in the cart row. Then again, you have the cross sell, and then again we have a lot of urgency throughout the offer page, cart row, and checkout. Now these are the first two funnels that they're using more for top of funnel traffic, which is less aware, so essentially colder audiences. And these two funnels are then for more solution aware, offer aware audiences, so really bottom of funnel traffic. Now here they run this special offer, which is a buy one get one free. So for this you can run different styles of creatives. One again could be a testimonial, another one could be pretty direct, hey, we're running this great sale. Now in terms of the landing page, you then push this traffic to a collection page, where you then in the top again have some social proof, talk about how the sale works. And so for example here, you buy one get one free, millions of happy customers, and then you say this is how it works. You just add 2 pairs, you automatically get the second pair for free, and then you enjoy. And then here we also have the countdown timer. So again, you can see that everywhere they're working with a lot of urgency and scarcity. And then also small things like this badge here with the doctor recommendations. Now, other than that, it's pretty straightforward collection page, as you can see, right? And then from the collection page, you then obviously are being pushed into the product pages, where you then also have some more stuff around the offer. So again, this is a different product page, because obviously here we want them to go for 1 to 3 pairs, but then here we have to have the congruency that you basically buy one and get one free, right? So This one is also super smartly chosen to say, hey, we only have a few left in stock because so many buy it. So just use this and then it automatically is going to apply. Again, we just have limited stock available. And then also you can see here only 7 pairs left in stock. So a lot of urgency essentially to go and buy this. And then again, you can see that even then in the cart drawer, they're still upselling you on another product. And then in checkout, we again have urgency. So there's the main theme with what they're doing, which is working pretty well, obviously. And then the last, this is the one that you're going to be most familiar with, just running direct product ads to the product page. And then from the product page into cart drawer into checkout. Now, again, this is the high level overview of these 4 funnels. The direct to product funnel is the one that you're going to mostly be aware of. The buy one, get one free is potentially something that you're going to be aware of. But then these 2 funnels are the most interesting ones because this is where most of the scale happens. This is where you have the biggest total addressable market, the least competition. And then also this is what you can perfectly then also use for native Taboola, Outbrain, Google, right? Because think about the channels, right? I'm just going to draw this essentially. If we think about the funnel, right? We have top of funnel, then we have minimum of funnel, and then we have the bottom of funnel traffic. Now, I always like to draw this as a V shape, just because at the top you have the biggest total addressable market, and then at the bottom you have the smallest total addressable market. The main thing that this means is that at the top, the people are completely unaware or product aware. Just going to write unaware or problem aware. Here in the middle, they are then solution aware. Right, so solution aware, and then at the bottom, they are really offer aware or ready to buy. I'm just going to write offer aware or ready to buy. So this is obviously the smallest market segment. Now it's easiest to sell to them, right? So the higher you go up, the harder to sell it is, and then at the bottom, it's easy to sell to them, right? Just because they're so aware. Now, if you think about these different funnels, then funnel number 1 and 2, essentially these 2 advertorial funnels work really well here, right? So we have advertorial funnels for this one, and then these product or buy one, get one free are mostly down here, right? So direct to collection page or product page. Now, if you think about the ads to run, right? You can obviously run certain campaigns on Meta, right? So the one that I've shown you here, you can run certain ad creatives like this one or like this one, but essentially it's pretty limited. And it's also pretty limited in terms of what you can do with Google, right? Because you can run shopping ads, you can run ads on certain keywords like buy barefoot shoes or whatever, but it's pretty limited. And that's why these advertorials work so well, because advertorials enable you to utilize a lot of traffic from Meta. It enables you to go for long-term keywords on Google, something like what to do with back pain, what to do with feet pain. I'm a nurse. How can I have a comfortable life, right? So there's so many long-tail keywords and search phrases that you can essentially target and go for. So you have way more traffic with Google. And then another great thing that you can do is you can go native, right? So something like Taboola or Outbrain. I also have a couple of case studies on my YouTube channel because we are really closely working together with Taboola. Ran a lot of great cases there. For example, this one beauty brand, we took it in Germany from 0 to 1 million per month in 90 days. So you can also find that case study on my YouTube channel. And essentially native, it's basically running ads on publishing pages like New York Times and Washington Post, like all of these big publishing sites. You can run ads, and then people are always going to think that your ad is going to take them to an article, right? And then they don't even understand that they're reading an advertorial, which is essentially the main reason why these advertorial funnels give you so much potential to scale. Now, again, this is the high-level breakdown of everything of these different funnels. I will link like a really detailed breakdown of how to utilize advertorials and how to utilize preset pages down below. So it's going to be like a 2-hour video course. So if you want to understand this further in great detail, then I suggest you to check that out. In this video, I just wanted to high level showcase how big brands are scaling to hundreds of millions of dollars per year, and that this is the real deal, what you should be doing now. And this is the new way of advertising essentially. So this is the complete system. This is our complete direct response funnel approach. You've seen everything. You've seen the cases. You've seen how to build preset pages, how to build the sales pages, how to build VSLs. And I've also given you multiple different case studies and also the breakdown of $100 million brand. So this is really everything on a silver platter for you. If you want to understand better how to implement all of this for your brand, then in the description, you're going to find a link to get on a call with us where you and I can basically break down your funnel together, look at your product portfolio, look at your current marketing setup, and then I can help you on how to really implement this direct response funnel approach into your business. So I will see you on that call. And then also, if you have any feedback, if you have any other content you would like to see on my YouTube channel, just put down a comment. I'm reading all of the comments. I'm also planning my content and the videos that I put out to you guys based on the comments and the DMs that I'm getting. So yeah, really looking forward to your feedback, and then see you in one of the next videos.